It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Wisconsin's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
I'm Doug Russell. It was a Sunday fun day for the Brewers.
That'll do, too. Base hit into center. Here comes Bowers. Cook fires to the plate, and Bowers with a belly flop. 2-out RBI single for Luis Rengifo.
Play-by-play courtesy of Brewers TV. Milwaukee blanks Pittsburgh 5-0 at American Family Field to salvage one game of the weekend three-game set. The story in this one from Milwaukee was lefty Kyle Harrison. He strikes out 12 in 6 innings of one-hit shutout ball. The Brewers are off today. They'll welcome in the Diamondbacks to AmFam Field tomorrow. NBA playoffs on Sunday. It was the Celtics taking a 3-1 series lead over the 76ers. Boston winning on the road 128-96. The Raptors and Cavaliers tied up at 2 games apiece. Toronto wins 93-89. Also, the Spurs beat the Trailblazers 114-93. Rockets down the Lakers 115-96. The Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all the board got to do. Let's go out and kick the tail. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Sit down now and make the play. Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, B hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmidt,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Locked and loaded, ready to dominate a week. You can't dominate the week if you don't dominate Monday. Let's get after it. The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, worldwide on the iHeart app, streaming live, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Drew Olson, Bill Schmidt, Armin Sarian, and I figure we are now a virtual digital audio health club, because before we even fired up today, people were waiting for the stream to start, just like they're waiting in the vestibule of the YMCA half a mile from the Megaplex.
It's a good place to get to, Drew, where it's appointment viewing, appointment listening, and you're setting agendas to, I got to be at the treadmill, dialed in with the Huddle to huddle up with the boys. Great weekend to discuss, and a full one at that before we get into what turns into just the, let's be honest, a little bit of the sports abyss as we get into the summer.
That's true. It'll be low tide soon, which is why your boy is taking vacation next week.
Smart man. Hey now. Yep.
Took me all these years of doing this that I realized, hey, maybe I should take the week of the All-Star game in Major League Baseball off, and I should take the week after the draft off.
Yeah.
The week after the draft.
Well, you used to use all those weeks for Summerfest, Drew. Now
That's
that
true.
It's not a straight,
That's fair.
Now that it's not a straight
It's
line.
a straight shot. Anymore.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is
you
true.
were always, ganged up in there. So.
Dispensing with tradition on the show. Usually when we have like a daily feature, buy or sell, or hot take hump day, game balls and kicks of the balls. We can fire up the game balls right now.
That's
because
what I'm talking about.
The first thing I want to do is award a game ball to my man Bill Schmid.
Come on now.
And to Wayne Larrabee for anchoring our draft coverage, because I listened to it and you boys were on fire the entire weekend.
Thank you.
And it was spectacular. There was no better listen than listening to you guys chop it up during the draft. It was like being at a bar. You know how it is when you're at a bar watching a game and then some nozzles next to you and spouting dumb opinions and saying stupid things and that. Like, this was the opposite of that. Like, I didn't want to pull myself away from the broadcast that you guys were doing. It was so good. So we haven't officially started game balls and kicks with the sound effects, but I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, thank you. And I have been that guy that goes to the bar with a binder full of sports stats to make sure that we can fire up a conversation. But
let's go.
Man, it is it's one of the true joys of doing this is to sit back in one of those times where I kind of laugh, like how stupid is this life that I'm able to sit back and watch all 3 days of the NFL draft, eat ribs, donuts, and Julie Larrabee cookies with Wayne Larrabee, drink pots of coffee late onto a Friday night, and also just to be able to see how that whole party and whole event continues to grow. And then this year, how different it is year to year for the football team. We've done years now where they have taken 12 players, and being on the radio this year, we made 5 of the 6 picks, the fewest a class has ever had in Packers history.
That's true.
Been around a long time.
Yeah.
So you see how different the drafts are, and then you kind of get validated and you feel vindicated in your opinions when ultimately the team might think a little bit how a lot of people did, say this draft wasn't worth maybe taking 8, 9, 10 players. Get 6 that you think can help your football team and get out. And I love the fact as well, guys, that the last pick will be the one that we discuss by far the most out of this 2026 NFL draft.
And your favorite things to discuss.
Always.
Right, is
Always
kickers.
exciting.
So
Yep.
a kicker named Smack is something you got to love, right? Talking it all the time. But, hey, the reality is it was a fantastic weekend. And you're right. If it did feel light to you, as it might have, if you were casually viewing, said, well, where are the rest of the Packers picks? It didn't seem like a lot. That was true. It wasn't a lot. So
I was stunned that they went down to 6 from 8 and not up to 11 or 12 because, Goody's history. But hey, man, this was there's a song from the 70s that you guys might not be aware of by a band called Supertramp. I always hated the song. It was on the radio all the time. It was called The Logical Song. And that's what I kept thinking about. This draft was logical.
100%.
They checked boxes. They got guys that, well, that's the best guy at the spot they needed. Well, that's because that was a logical pick. Now, are they going to work? We don't know, and we won't know for a couple of years. But everything was checked, and it's like, in terms of process, I think they had a perfect draft. Who can quibble with what they did unless you just hate Goody and you want to say, you want to be contrarian and plant your flag that this draft's going to suck.
100%. And Drew, also the interchangeably from the names, identifying the positions that you had to improve, bringing guys in. Were you going to be able to fix your depth in this draft? Probably not, because of the caliber of player that was actually coming out. And every single time on the board, you might have changed the name, but I find it hard pressed to believe that people didn't look at their defense and say that needs to be where the majority of these draft picks are. Everybody likes there to be competition on special teams when a guy helps you lose a playoff game. And then on the offensive line, you can never have too many, especially when there are spots up for grabs. I thought Goody said it really well last night, or on a Saturday night when he was wrapping everything up. Asked of, what players you added this weekend, do you believe that you are now closer to winning the Super Bowl? Kind of pauses, and all due respect to the question, if you think that you're adding 5 players to go to in the draft to win that year's Super Bowl, That ain't happening. That
point.
just has never happened, really. There have been many teams in many classes where you can flip around your organization, feel a lot better. One of the best examples would be the New Orleans Saints a number of years ago, where they got the Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. They lost in the divisional round.
Yeah.
You don't win this year's Super Bowl these last 3 days. However, you can really add to guys that are going to be high caliber players for the next couple of years, and especially deny Dennis Sutton. They had talked about trying to trade up for him and trade back into the third round on Friday night. He ends up falling right into their lap on Saturday afternoon. Hard to say that anything worked out better than that.
Yeah, I saw one of the ESPN writers saying he was their favorite value pick of that round, should be able to help the Packers immediately. But you're right. It is sort of the dad conversation you have to have with a lot of fans who, if you see around this space and around online, you hear a lot of the voices, a lot of people following the draft, hardcore fans, or even in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, talking about which player is going to help us this year. Like, brother, that's not how this thing is going to work.
No,
like, you're not going to get Super Bowl help. You're not one player away in the 7th round of being pushed over. Like, well, what was the thing? Why did we lose in the playoffs last year? We gave up this touchdown pass, so we need a corner in the 7th round that will put us over the top. That's just not how it works, although there are a lot of fans that want to believe that that's how it works. But that's just not reality.
That's not reality. It's not at all. If you consider yourself a Super Bowl contender, like the draft is like, you want guys that can contribute, sure, but it's not about that. It's absolutely, the one guy from the draft's not going to put you over and get you the ring.
No,
isn't going to happen.
Now, could
depth pieces, sure, and guys that the last time the Packers won a Super Bowl, they had a bunch of injuries, and a bunch of the guys who came in and played ended up outperforming and overperforming what the guys that they replaced did, which is why they won the Super Bowl. They hit the inside straight. That's every year is different. Every draft is different. Every season and every team makeup is different. It's the roller coaster, but they got good guys. It looks like they got good guys. Now, Cisse they took because it seemed to me, and Billy, I was listening to you guys, but it seemed to me like, all right, they looked at the board and they could have taken McClellan in that same spot because they liked him enough. Yep. But they thought, well, there's not that many corners left like that we like.
Started to get picked over.
So we're going to take the corner now and then get because it was a deeper position. But again, I've talked about this before. When I look at the draft as a block of players, and I don't focus on the rounds that much, because if you get a Hall of Famer in the 5th round, you had a good draft in the first, and you can, the first round guy can be a bust if you counterbalance it. So these guys, it's like, well, that guy could have been a second, could have been a third, could have been like they could have jumbled the rounds around because that's how it is. Like it's all subjective especially when you get past the first 10, 15 guys.
Yeah, and ultimately good players can. I say this in business, a good idea comes. It doesn't matter where a good idea comes. A good idea is a good idea. Good player is a good player, and wherever you end up grabbing him, doesn't matter how you get there. Find somebody that can contribute. And you'll be able to find 2 guys out of this 6-person draft class that you sign 2 second contracts, and that's a huge win. Right. So I struggle with identifying and ranking it over the top with certain guys, but understandably so. First round pick has a ton of value. Maybe not this year though, and I think almost further validated thinking about it in hindsight this weekend and yesterday. Man, really was a good year to be trading your first round pick prior to the year where you got 12 great games of production there. Obviously, coming off the injury, we'll see how Mike is able to respond. But the 20th pick in this year's draft, that was a major crapshoot, and there's a lot of people that think you weren't getting even a first-round caliber player in that spot when you rank the board horizontally, as they like to say in the industry, which I still don't necessarily know that I mean. I still don't fully think I understand, but I like to use it to make it sound like we understand everything.
But to your point, you're right. I mean, a lot of people did think this was a thinner draft in that sense. And then the prevailing notion I kept having throughout that first round, wondering who will the Packers take, and then we get someone that'll help us, obviously needed corner help, was, man, I'm so glad I'd much rather would have Micah Parsons than any of these guys. And I think that's what a lot of teams were, at least that's what the Packers were thinking last year. So as much as we covet, and a lot of teams covet those draft picks, sometimes it is better to get the bird in the hand. The Packers did have it in a draft this year. Unless you love tight ends, If you love tight ends, this was your draft.
Ends.
This was your day to eat. This was your day to be seen because there was a lot of tight ends. It was a trench-heavy draft, as you know, Billy, which was a thought. But the Packers did need help at corner, and that's where they went early in the draft.
And then they also took the lottery ticket at corner in Damani Jackson, which I think is like the perfect swing for the fence guy. He can probably help you on special teams as a gunner right away, Drew. And then former 5-star recruit, modern day high school guy. So like he's been competing and playing with some of the best players for his entire life. Once he gets to the NFL, we'll see if he's able to stay in the same spot, but you can't fake that speed and you can't teach that. And then again, you get a kicker named Trey. That's one good sign. Figure also, like, if you have a good 3-point shooter named Trey, that's just going to work out, especially when he's smacking, hopefully game winners. I like the fact that they added to it, and listening to LaFleur and Gutekunst, you could tell there was maybe some conversation leading up. All right, I don't know if it's going to be on the 26th during the draft or after. We're figuring out some way to push Brandon McManus because those 7 points on the board that they left there in Chicago seem to have haunted those guys all off season long.
Huge. 877-794-1973, NicoletLaw.com talking text line. What's your draft grade? Draft grades are dumb because you don't know, but you can grade the process. And in terms of the process, like I said, it's so logical that I don't see how you can give lower than like a B+. Like, it's like it was, they needed that guy. They took that position. They needed that position. They took that. Now, okay, do they still need a backup running back? Sure. Undrafted free agents are going to be scouring the market.
Yep.
And the fact that they took, I guess like 4 defenders, 1 special teamer, and 1 offensive player is for some might be like, wow, what the hell? You didn't get enough offensive line help. They needed more on defense.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what they addressed.
And if you've looked at how they've moved throughout the offseason, they've been building towards their best players and their core players right now on offense being more heavily involved. And it felt like that was the sentiment and the takeaway from LaFleur after of, we know the guys that we have, we need to find more ways to get them opportunities. And as nice as it is to have a ton of options, it doesn't always work out in your best interest to not be feeding your best players not saying that you have to force feed the football all throughout the game to a Christian Watson or a Jaden Reed, but it's nice to be able to know that you have a focus on getting those guys the ball 5, 6, 7 times a game. It felt like that was one of the cleanest takeaways, Drew, of how they've discussed and how they're trying to move forward. Of they had a lot of options and it sounded really good. And I think they worked maybe harder than necessary, harder than you had to try to keep everybody happy. Now we've found the guys that we believe are the best ones.
Right.
Now let's go try to win something.
That's right. Of the guys that they took, like, and you're talking about who's going to help them, who's going to have the immediate impact. I think, there's going to be, Cisse is going to be a rotational guy. He's going to play. They're going to see the field. But I think McClellan's the guy, given the position. And to me, and Billy, I might be talking out of my arse, but it's like, to be that big dude and to suck up double teams and to just like be the first and second down guy against the run, it seems like he's plug and play, and there is the learning curve. Cisse will improve so much between like right now and 3 years from now.
Big time.
It's gonna be ridiculous. But I don't know that you have to have that. McClellan's gonna get. Is he gonna get bigger and stronger? He's already big and strong.
Yeah.
He will learn the nuances of the position for sure. But I think that's where you can get immediate help from that guy. And I'm like, okay, that's their 3rd round pick. And I think he's going to be the guy this year that gets the most burn. Is my logic flawed?
No, I don't think it's flawed. I think him and Sutton are going to play the most because right off of the first brush, whether or not Parsons misses the first 3 to 4 games in rehab, then Dennis Sutton's going to play a bunch. And I still don't, we haven't seen, maybe it'll be different under his 4th defensive coordinator in his 9 years as the head coach of the Packers. But LaFleur has never focused or never tried, or 8 years of the Packers, never wanted his guys playing more than 70% of the snaps, 65% of the snaps. So that 3rd and 4th edge rusher is going to play. And Dennis Sutton looks right away to at least be Kingsley Enagbare fill-in right out of the gates. But McClellan's going to be able to play up and down. But to start on 1st and 2nd down in the middle, like you said, is pretty impactful because they desperately need somebody that can move up and down. And his versatility on the defensive line is going to keep him on the field more than it's going to take him off.
Hargrave's not necessarily like a nose tackle per se.
No,
and he's
him
33.
And Wyatt will be much more on the outside.
And he's 33, and that Wyatt too. So, and Wyatt's got to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But that
very true.
So to me, that was the pick that, okay, that's the guy that will contribute right away. And yeah, to your point, Denai is going to be the same kind of deal where he's getting burned. And now, what is that a message to Lucas Van Ness, or is it a message to,
partially?
I mean,
the funniest message to Lucas Van Ness is the fact that none of us really brought him up at all. As I was going back, kind of thinking about it and, burning through the tape of Wayne and I doing the draft show, I don't know that we really mentioned Lucas Van Ness at all in trying to see where their needs stacked up. We talked about filling the gap of in Agbare, who would be able to step up, and it almost just went to Baron Sorrell. Will my man Brenton Cox finally be able to take the full red shirts off and be an NFL player? I think he's good enough to be. He hasn't necessarily shown a ton of it, but Van Ness almost just got passed right over. So his productivity, not only, I know I'm talking the most obvious of statements here, but if he doesn't produce here, his career is right into the abyss. There is a massive question. This is the career year in a contract year for Van Ness. But I still can't get over the fact that when you ask who's going to play the most for him, the one that's going to play the most for him, and I can almost guarantee you week one is a starter, is Trace Mack.
Trace Mack, it might be the one. That's the first thing I thought, Billy, as well. It's like you don't use a pick on that guy.
You don't trade up to get him.
Use a pick on that guy, just to leave him.
So
there.
That's the thing I thought is what kind of cap relief do they get if McManus isn't on the team?
Yeah,
a couple $1 million maybe. Yeah, and which could be a rotational player,
which is your backup running back you're looking for, or so they're going to do some shopping in the free agent market, street guys and undrafted free agents, which they've had success with in the past.
And there's a number of those guys that I still think can help you win games. And to echo Goody's point of not winning this year's Super Bowl in these last 3 days, I think those players of a Cam Jordan or a Calais Campbell, if you can convince him, my man Aaron Nagler said, like Keith Jackson, he didn't want to come play in Green Bay, convince him to have the one last run and go win something. I think those guys, the backup running backs that are available now, some of the vets are going to be more additive to you winning it this year. And they invested a 3rd-round pick in Marshawn Lloyd. They're going to give him every opportunity. They have, and they're going to give him one last run.
Running on him,
to see if he can cash in on this thing. So, they doubled down on some of the guys in their own locker room, which I think were the best parts. Now you have to see if they get paid off for that, and if they can stay healthy. It's one of the worst ways to discuss a football team. But what was the worst part of the 2025 season? The fact that they blew too many leads and blew too many knees out.
Injuries, yeah. That's what it is. And that's the challenge with that is it's not necessarily something you can control when you're talking about NFL teams, because obviously the injury rate is 100% in a lot of ways, right? Injuries are part of the game, especially in this game. But when it's the one thing that you feel is holding you back, or one of the main things holding you back, it is a frustrating thing to sort of deal with. So pretty interesting, guys. Drafted kickers in Packer history is a mixed bag.
Anders Carlson.
Yeah, Anders Carlson. Say what you will. Brett Conway, disaster. Mason Crosby, fantastic. So we'll see how it goes with Trace Mack.
Wasn't Longwell drafted too?
He was undrafted.
Undrafted, okay.
He was the understudy for Brett Conway. Took his job, and Brett never saw a snap. Took his job in that preseason, basically.
Doesn't Smack have the same kicking coach that Mason Crosby did?
Like, great question.
Matt Stover, because he's from Baltimore.
Yeah, I sure hope so. More than anything, I love the celebrations from Trace Mack.
Oh, he's into it.
When you got
he's a Uribe.
The kind of guy that you want to see out there. Definitely needs some moxie out there.
I want my kicker to be rolling up bones like Uribe after a
100%.
I just feel like when you have a nickname like Trey as a kicker, like you automatically have some sort of street cred in the
James
locker
Trey
room.
the third.
James, yeah. So like you guys aren't calling. I know I'm a kicker, and this is still a football locker room, and the Bill Schmids of the world want to give me no street cred, but you guys aren't calling me James. You're calling me Trey, and I'm Smack, and let's go. And we're gonna do some fun things here. So I'm gonna say I'm hopeful for him. I'm hopeful for the best SEC kicker. Let's make it happen. And I'm hoping this turns out to be very well for the Packers.
They end up having to carry 2 again, like they did for a while last year.
A practice squad guy,
potentially. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's a possibility. I think the one thing is that this probably eliminates the opportunity for any of the international pathway players to be kickers.
Yeah,
I think this might eliminate that.
Take
this one away. Also, some players from the state going. Billy Schroeth was sweet. He went right after Max Bredesen, Arrowhead High School, former quarterback, turned fullback and tight end at Michigan. A walk-on to a 5th-round pick was pretty sweet. Reed Breckheimer, tight end from the Carroll University, getting a rookie camp tryout with the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
We like seeing that.
Hey, maybe he can earn his way on.
And for the first time since I think the 70s, no Wisconsin Badgers taking it.
And we'll talk about that.
There's
some
the
YouTube
path,
questions about that.
Yeah, and the path now. 60% of the guys chosen over the weekend played in the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah,
like it was like next to no FBS and next to no it's
NIL has the influence.
It's about 15 guys.
Judy did a really nice job of saying, you know what? No, I mean we had some small school guys on our board that we were really intrigued with. Yeah, we totally did. We totally did.
All right, we're off and running. Shooting shirts coming off. Want your input? Game balls and kicks to the balls in the offing today. A special edition of the Huddle. We'll be talking to Bill Schroeder from Brewers TV.
Come on now.
He's going to join us at 7:30.
Him and BA were amazing yesterday.
A great weekend for them. Not so great for the Brewers, but it was a great game yesterday.
And this is your
Kyle
song.
Harrison was El Hombre.
He was. And your song here, Drew, on the way out, the logical song by Supertramp.
Not a banger, man. I heard this song coming out of radios a lot. No, never one of my favorites. We're off and running. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
this year to take the lead here in the fourth quarter. High snap, but they get it down, and Smack puts it through from 54 yards out.
Armin with his kicking crush already.
Only the excitement Joe Tessitore can provide.
Trey Smack. What a great name, Trey Smack.
Yeah.
It works out perfectly. Hitting trays and smacking kicks. And maybe also if he can hit a little bit. I mean, like if he gets like one tackle, you just got smacked. That's going to be a phenomenal one to be able to fire out if indeed he has to be the security blanket on special teams.
Indeed. And the kids are already saying he has aura. Now, I think it's just based on this like one picture of him with like shades on and a mustache holding the football out. I'm not really sure. And it's like
he's a swaggy young man.
Now they're putting it with like fireballs in the back. And I got to say, it is a little bit of like, if Matt Schneidman was AI in that picture, man, a little bit of Matt Schneidman like AI.
I'd watch out on the Schneidman takes. He's doing
sure.
Get behind the scenes.
He's an influencer now.
Might be doing get ready with me videos here coming up pretty soon. I'd watch out. He's taking over the internet.
Yeah.
He's taking over the internet. But I did see 715 said, I really hope that it's an actual kicking I surely hope the kicking competition is truthful and Smack gets a chance, because that's definitely one position that bit us last year. I think it's pretty clear and obvious he's going to get more than a chance to go in here. Rarely is the rookie the guy that you for sure want to win the job. They absolutely want him to win the job. And it's not just because they don't like Brandon McManus or they didn't appreciate the way that he responded last year. You draft a kicker, you're damn well hoping that guy is the player that you anticipate being for the next 10 years.
Well, no
trying
doubt.
to finally rectify fix the position since Crosby left 5 years ago or
no
whatever
doubt.
It's been now.
And the thing is, McManus obviously, filled the role for a time, but did struggle there at the end of the year. And I would think the only thing you hate more as a GM and a team staff like that with a kicker missing kicks in big games is one that's also costing you more money than a rookie kicker would. Like I would imagine that doesn't make you very happy. So yeah, goes without saying, I think it's obviously going to be a competition. In fact, I would almost say Smack has a leg up. No pun intended.
Yeah, he's got a definite better footing.
Pause. Good one.
Oh, well done.
Well done. Yeah.
His is it his to lose or
I would say so, Drew.
It's almost like McManus auditioning for his next team.
Yeah,
100%. And we've seen this now last 4 or 5 years that there's been a legit kicking competition in Green Bay during training camp. And it will be one of the most tracked things because it's one of the only things that you actually can track during training camp. And none of it ultimately matters. Like Justin in Jacksonville said, I hope Trey can kick in the cold. We're not going to know that until he's already made the team and he's kicking the most important kicks of the season.
It's going to be a few months. Yeah.
It's the toughest part of that job. And I thought Goody said it really well after the draft on Saturday, where he's like, yeah, we understand that there's going to be growing pains. Tough thing is when a left guard goes through growing pains, we can still break a 20-yard gain and win the play. Lose the game when this is the guy, but you got to be able to find some kind of patience with it. And I think they're going to have more than enough patience there. I also think Mike Witt on the YouTube comments has a good point. Best thing they did this weekend was extending Jaden Reed, especially for the number that they got Reed locked in at, Drew. I thought 3 years, $50 million, 20 of it guaranteed. We'll see exactly how it breaks down with the economics of it. But that's a dude that in a contract for a second to third wide receiver is incredibly bargain basement if he can be the player that you thought he was going to be after his rookie year. And it's been some catastrophic injuries for him, especially this year, but he also got hurt on one of the sickest plays for the Packers in 2025. That touchdown catch that ended up getting called back against the Commanders in week number 2.
Oh my goodness. You can get your opinions, your thoughts, 877-794-1973. Broke the seal on the game balls and kicks of the balls because I wanted to give one to Billy and Wayne for their coverage. And, of course, supported by Armin and Hunter.
Yes. And Hunter was an MVP, as always.
Went out to the ballpark again.
Yeah, give him
in
the
fact,
credit.
In the next segment of the program, we'll be hearing Hunter's recap presented by Import Minded of the Brewers' victory yesterday. Now, interestingly.
I like that we're recapping that one.
Yeah. Interestingly, we didn't...
I like that one.
We didn't get the Skeens shoving on Friday night and then the disappointment of Saturday. Yikes. Extra innings.
At least they get salvage one, though. That mark.
Yeah.
I used to hear the mark of good teams is they don't get swept. Is that true?
The reverberations, because here the Red Sox cleaned house with their manager and coaching staff, firing a guy regarded as one of the best and highest paid managers halfway through a 3-year deal for Alex Cora. He gets greased, and meanwhile, like, they stink on ice, and the young pitcher that Matt Arnold fleeced out of them struck out 12 guys yesterday. But we got to fire the manager and the coaches because that's the reason we're not winning.
I love that the GM at the table in the press conference goes, it's my fault. Okay, but you're the one that keeps your job. I don't know exactly how this works on some of these deals.
I'm not firing myself, but it's my fault.
I'm not firing myself, but give it a year and a half, and I'll be fired
and
too.
I'll be out of here as well.
Save your money, bro. That's what you can say, right?
Careful what you wish for.
Well, just
right?
think of the markets and the kind of touchstone franchises that are having frustrations and troubles in April right now. Talk about Phillies, Mets, Red Sox, obviously. Man, that's a cavalcade of angry fan bases.
Mets have lost, 12 out of 15 or something like that?
Which is, it's only still April, and I'll keep saying that. You guys know how I love Flag Day, but the old adage, you can lose a division in April. I mean, maybe that's what these teams are facing. There is time for all of them to turn it around, which is why maybe that move has been made. But man, that is some tough sledding for those three teams so far.
I also love that John Henry has just can become the most despised human being in Boston sports. I mean, their ownership group has just been continually carved up in the media for cutting costs, not necessarily Portland Trailblazers asked, but I mean, they're just slicing into salaries and operating like a small market team. It seems like, Drew, in one of the biggest markets in the Armin said, one of the touchstone franchises in the sport.
They are for sure. It's Buster Olney called it like a Game of Thrones thing for the last several years, where they're just like greasing GMs.
I got to fire this guy to keep my job, and I got to do this dirty work.
Which is interesting because on one hand, you can make the argument, well, we're doing it in the guise of we need to make moves to win, to quote unquote, what's our favorite, Billy? Hold people accountable.
Got to hold people accountable.
Keep cutting guys, because when there's a frustration of losing, the pitchforks are out, obviously, the torches and stuff about, hey, hold this guy accountable, fire somebody. The more you do that, the more you're digging your hole deeper, and it's like quicksand. So there's a couple ways to look at it, but you're right. It's the cost-cutting aspect of it. It's like, well, are we trying to win? Are we not? Or is this just, I always feel like when guys are, when private equity and the like owns teams now, it's less about this is our hometown owner, this is our hometown team. It's more like, no, we're going to run this thing. We're going to run this shop like we do all of our other businesses. We're going to try and cut the fat off, and we're going to try and win, but also do it with the right price and make the most money. And now that's going to be a thing that fan bases are going to have to reckon with, even in the big markets.
All right, so fan base is here, like a heat check on April 27th. My boy Dan Needles posted the other day.
That was a good post, yeah.
He is the sports director emeritus from WISN 12 in Milwaukee. Spent many years here. Needles said, in 1991, the Packers were 4-12. The Bucks began a 31-51 season. The Brewers finished fourth. He doesn't mention it, but they also ended up firing their manager and having a regime change. The Badgers football team was 5-6. The UW Hoops and Marquette basketball teams both missed the NCAA tournament. That was 1991. He said, with that in mind, this current run isn't so bad, but in the last few months, the Packers made the playoffs but lost their last 5 games. The Bucks were abysmal. Badgers football team won 4 games and had no players drafted. Marquette was awful. The UW basketball team had a nice season but lost to noted powerhouse High Point in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And the injury-plagued Brewers are in last place in late April. Maybe they can stop the 22-86 run of meh, or maybe it'll be the Packers. I would prefer not to revisit 1991 in Wisconsin sports. We've been spoiled by an amazing run.
Yeah, he's not lying. Definitely has hit a skids here in 2026 to start.
And the Badgers not getting a player drafted is, I guess it shouldn't be shocking because of the way you looked at it, but it is shocking.
It is. It's really, really stunning when it actually happens, Drew. And I think Nick Brusewitz ran down the ramp on Saturday to defend the motion W, and we appreciated that as well. And he mentioned it as well. I think it's the first time ever in 3 consecutive years they haven't had somebody drafted in the first 2 days. And it does show. It's not surprising because we all watched them go 4-8, and we watched the lack of explosiveness from veteran players onto the team. But I really thought Mason Reiger was going to get drafted at some particular point in time. I thought he was going to go early on day 3. He ends up not going on day 3. I thought Eli Heidenreich, they're showing that celebration of the Navy kid getting drafted by the Steelers at 2:30. I thought he was going to go in the 5th. So it's always going to vary once you leave it up at that point. But I think the most frustrating one for a lot of Badgers fans is the guys that were former Wisconsin Badgers that have gotten drafted over the last couple of years, right? Like Chimere Dike goes fourth round, and then is a first team All-Pro returner in his first year in the NFL. You watch Skylar Bell, who was a third wide receiver at best at Wisconsin, all of a sudden become a 1,200-yard guy at UConn and a 4th-round pick. And Riley Nowakowski didn't necessarily know what his prospects would be ever touching the football, goes and wins a national title at Indiana and was one of my favorite guys in the draft. So that part is even more frustrating when you see they've had talent, they have identified it, they did a decent job developing it, and then that talent at the end of the day said, you know what, I'm not going to waste my last years here. I'm going to make some money and go somewhere else. That's a grave one, and especially for a team that is desperately needing some leadership. Those guys all probably could have provided it, but Colton Joseph's ready.
There you go.
Colton Joseph slinging the pill there in Camp Randall. We got Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano right there anchoring the inside of the defense. Not going to get drafted over the next couple of years.
Right.
They got a couple more years in Madison. So we got some young players that are rolling through
and
here.
the commitment from Jack Sorgi, the legacy, right? So there you go.
Don't look now, but their high school recruiting class is unbelievable for 2027 right now, and almost all in-state kids.
Which is important, right? Just to the point you made really quick, Billy, not just the guys that were at Wisconsin getting drafted, but the guys from the state. Right, there was a decent amount of guys from the state of Wisconsin drafted, but they weren't Badgers. I think that's the first thing people is like, wait, another Wisconsin guy? Great, yeah. And then it's that letdown. I'm like, why wasn't he a Badger? Used to be the best players. That talent was always in state. So
kid from Greenfield High School got drafted this weekend. I also was remiss to shout out a couple other of my D3 guys in the state. Caleb Law, the quarterback from River Falls, is getting a tryout with the New Orleans Saints, and the Packers brought in your boy Dane Walter from UWL. Now, I can only imagine that might have been Goody's favorite call. Bringing another lacrosse eagle into the fold. He's going to walk right by Goody's office up there. Maybe he never actually gets up there and outside of the worst day of camp, but see that UWL helmet right there in the office and know that he's got a good chance. Know that he's got at least a little bit of a leg up.
Speaking of UW lacrosse, Hunter Baumgart matriculated there, and he is going to give us his Brewers recap brought to us by Import Minder. We're going to spin through that as we move forward. Good day at the ballpark. If Kyle Harrison shoved 12 punch outs. Oh, my goodness. We will cover that and more as we move forward and get ready. Game balls and kicks of the balls firing up just after 6. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
And one of their guys, Drew, brought me over. He was like, hey, I got a guy I want you to meet. And I knew you, Brandon. And we started talking and stuff. Built a great relationship. Great dude to talk to, but we just talked a lot about football at the end of the day and his thought process of how he sees the game and stuff. So it was really encouraging. So when you get a guy like that, when he's a good player, but you're also able to talk ball and get a feel for him, it makes you even more comfortable with the guy.
Packers scout Mike Owen on Brandon Cisse, the first pick taken by the Packers at 52, cornerback, South Carolina.
You hear a lot. Go Cox. You hear a lot about you hear a lot from a lot of different people during the draft. Mike Owen was one of my favorites. My man sounded awesome into a microphone. We need more Mike Owen.
Oh, he's got great pipes.
Great pipes, great presence up at the front of the room. But I like the fact that kind of goes a little bit more into who the guy was and the recruitment and finding out who these guys are. Because Drew, that ends up being so much of this. It's not just the player and the athlete. All of these dudes are athletic. All of them are crazy twitchy, and all of them have skill sets that should translate. But it's what is in between the ears and what's in the chest that ultimately I think defines who ends up being guys in the NFL.
Totally. And Cisse's like, it doesn't seem like, looking at his social and stuff, he's not lacking confidence.
Oh, that's for sure. No, definitely not.
You can't, but you need that. I want some bravado,
especially at that position, because you're going to get burned more times than not. But you have to be able to have irrational confidence at that position,
especially going up against the guys that have the biggest egos, which are wide receivers. So it's ego on ego. You got to give it back to them,
and are making a lot of times the most money, right? I mean, you're breaking up a $70 to $80 million connections on certain weeks, so that's a big part of it.
That's right. All right, 877-794-1973. Draft was the big story. I think we'll get a Taylor Jenkins press conference at some point this week.
Now we're talking. Come on now. I'm excited for that.
Brewers off again today, but at least they get to sit on a victory because they beat the Pirates on getaway day yesterday. Kyle Harrison shoved 12 strikeouts for the lefty. Let's go to our recap, our Brewers recap from Hunter Baumgart, the hardest working man in sports journalism. Hunter Baumgart, pride of UW Lacrosse. And he was at the ballpark after producing much of the draft coverage and then dipping out of here to get to on Saturday to get to the ballpark. And then Sunday, here's Hunter's recap brought to us by Import Minded.
Thanks, guys. Kyle Harrison was the story of Sunday afternoon in a 5-0 Brewers win over the Pittsburgh Pirates to snap their 4-game losing streak. He threw 6 shutout innings, struck out 12. That's the most strikeouts by a Brewers left-handed pitcher in a game since Aaron Ashby back in 2022, and just 1 strikeout away from the most strikeouts in a game by a left-handed pitcher in Brewers franchise history. Can you name the 2 that have the record? They're tied with 13 strikeouts. I'll let you. It's Teddy Higuera and Eric Lauer tied for the franchise record by a left-handed pitcher with strikeouts at 13. But Kyle Harrison told us what was working on Sunday afternoon for him.
It's tough to say, but I think just fastball command, starting out, and then, as the innings went on, I think it was just mixing a good amount of change-ups. I mean, showed it early, so that was huge just to let him know I'm throwing it in the zone. And, I thought the slider took a step forward today and was able to use that to expand out of the zone. So, tunneling was a little bit better today.
And on the offensive side, 5 runs in the 4th inning was more than enough. David Hamilton, his first extra base hit of the season, a double in that inning. They got 5 hits total in that 4th inning, and then the bullpen held it down as well. Trevor McGill, Aaron Ashby, Abner Uribe shutting out the Pirates. The Brewers are off today before they're back in action coming up tomorrow night as they host the Diamondbacks for a 3-game series starting at 6:40 tomorrow night. This report brought to you by Import Minded, your trusted choice for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th, just north of 894. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Hunter.
I'm going to need more trivia every time. That was fantastic.
Eric Lauer.
Especially with the hold.
Eddie
that
Higuera.
was great. So my initial thought was Higuera. But the other dominant lefty I thought was Cisse, and I got that one wrong. So that was pretty good. Other one I thought was Mike Caldwell possibly, but he was a sinker ball guy, right, Drew? A lot of ground balls, a lot of contact, so not a lot of strikeouts.
So. Brewers, they're 13-12. 25 games in, sound about right? Or 14 and 13? 14 and 13. So they're above the equator. They're looking up at the division, but that's early. Nothing's getting away from them yet.
They'd be second in the NL East?
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
With all the injuries too that they've had, and they've gone 7 games without leaving the yard.
But Drew, their lack of slug is extremely evident right now.
A lot of small market rallies, like that 5-run outburst was the Stoinkers and like jam shots and seeing eyes.
Which is okay, but obviously you got to at some point have some slug, and I'm always concerned about that, Billy. So
well, and all their slug is on the IL, so
Yeah.
we'll see if there's anything that can fully rectify it. But I mean, they need somebody to be able to step on a couple here, and if that's William Contreras or Bryce Durang, important. But Drew, the Harrison trade, when made, obviously people thought about it more as the Caleb Durbin trade. That's going to go down as the Kyle Harrison trade.
Yes, it is.
A former number 1 overall prospect in baseball doesn't really get dealt that much, right? It feels like that when you get one of those tags, it's hard for people to kind of shed it. And I mean, he's been a grinder and a highly regarded dude for a long time, but for them to be able to get him in a mix of players, either one is just a oversight by 2 different teams that moved off of him in a couple of different trades. And also, I think the Brewers and Matt Arnold are firmly becoming that team for different Major League Baseball squads. When all of a sudden the 414 number pops up, I'd be pretty worried about who they're asking for.
Yeah,
I'd be a little bit reticent to be dealing with anybody that the Brewers are identifying as a guy that they like.
Red Sox fans are reeling because they fired Alex Cora, who people liked. They didn't think it was scapegoat season, right? So
100%.
He gets greased, and it's like, why don't we look at the guy who traded away Quinn Priester and Kyle Harrison?
There's no way if I'm Craig Breslow, I'd ever answer a Matt Arnold call again.
Right. And like David Hamilton's had some good moments for the Brewers as well. I'm probably more than Durbin has had. Durbin homered the other day, but probably more than
Anyone
Durbin's
know what
had in
Anthony
Boston.
Siegler's doing?
Yeah. My goodness. And Shane Drowan looks pretty good, too.
I was going to say, both pitchers look like they can
He
play.
looks like he can pitch.
And the Brewers couldn't stop talking more about David Hamilton coming back. And David Hamilton almost ended that long ball streak yesterday. I mean, a lot of warning track power on this team right now, but he took it to
That's
it.
right. We're off and running. It's the Monday edition of the Huddle. Game balls and kicks to the balls fires up next. Bill Schroeder at 7:30. You're with us huddling up. Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. The Brewers got good pitching and solid hitting en route to salvaging the finale of their series with the Pirates.
There's Hamilton, deep drive right center. Reynolds on the run. This is going to be off the wall. Coming in to score, Frelick. Renhefo at third. It's an RBI double for David Hamilton.
Final score 5-0. The Brewers blanked the Pirates. Lefty Kyle Harrison was the star from Milwaukee in this one. He fans 12 in 6 innings of one-hit shutout ball. The Brewers off today. They'll bring in Arizona to American Family Field tomorrow. NBA playoffs on Sunday. In the East, it was the Celtics over the 76ers, 128-96. Raptors down the Cavaliers, 93-89. San Antonio, a 114-93 winner at Portland. And it was the Rockets over the Lakers, 115-96. To hockey, the Admirals season is over. They're eliminated in the Calder Cup playoffs by Manitoba, 2-1 on Sunday. Hour 2 of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake up!
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, be alert for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yards. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We got exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all the ball y'all do. Let's go out and kick the tape. All right? Hey, yo. 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Sit out now and make the play. Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Greetings and salutations, early risers, insomniacs, sociopaths at the health club already. Welcome into the Huddle. Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, Drew, Billy, Armin, your amenable hosts today. Plenty to unpack our buffet, but Mondays in the Huddle means game balls and kicks to the balls. It being 6:02 a.m. Let's get this fired up in proper fashion.
Now we're talking.
Today on the program, you get to award a game ball for a job well done, an attaboy, kudo, if you will. And today on the Huddle, that is this.
And he's got another strikeout.
Oh, little Kyle Harrison
Come on
homage
now,
from
let's
Brian
go,
Anderson of
BA.
Brewers
That-
TV.
Felt that was awesome from the weekend. Probably our best thing yesterday was obviously Kyle Harrison. So
Kyle Harrison.
yeah, 12 strike. That was his 12 strikeout.
Yep. All right. Conversely, kick to the ball. Someone needs a performance improvement plan. They need to do better in their job or in life. Kick to the balls today sounds like this.
And soccer up.
Couldn't let that pass. It was a few days old, but that was Charles Barkley messing up the Angola on Inside the NBA. Billy, I know you love that too. I just could not let that one pass. It was a few days old, but hey, why not? So that was Charles Barkley not figuring it out. They did on Earth Day the Guess This Country. They were trying to help him out for like a minute to figure out it was Angola. The team he ripped on, the 92 Dream Team, he couldn't even remember it was Angola.
All they wanted to do was show that video. All they wanted was Chuck to be able to pick it up. And let's go with NBA Inside the NBA now being back on our television.
It's back. We're actually getting to watch these boys
We're
again.
actually getting to be able to watch these boys. Now, not for the extended time that they used to on TNT because they weren't, trying to get back to a Charmed marathon. But that's waking up and seeing those guys at noon yesterday. That was a sight to behold. Love seeing that.
Yes, gotta love that. 877-794-1973, your ticket to give us your game balls and kicks of the balls, salutations or condemnations. We started out the show today and a game ball emeritus to Billy Schmid and
he's
Wayne
got
Larry
another strikeout.
for anchoring our draft coverage here on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. The best coverage that there was. You had Nags drop by.
That was fun.
You guys were chopping it up.
Bruiser was
it
in there.
never dragged. The TV coverage of the draft gets repetitive and it drags, and there's just too much glazing going on for me.
There's a lot of it, especially day 3. Yep.
And we're not talking
Day
about
3, you
either.
think everybody's an impact guy. This is a great pick. Look at this great young man. Look at what he did. Like he's
Trying to figure out why you're taking a punter before
he's
Garrett
gonna-
Nussmeier going here, SEC quarterback, knows exactly what he's doing with the football every single time. Yeah, there's a lot of glazing.
glazing going on. But you guys kept it real.
Indeed, with Nags is there and too, was in there as well, keeping it real. And obviously to be doing it with the great Wayne Larrabee, right, Billy?
Dude, Wayne sat in my chair. I'm so honored to be sitting in my chair today. I don't deserve this chair after Wayne sat.
Talk
in it.
about a man that grinds, and you said it, Billy, obviously during the broadcast, but Wayne does so much homework, so much prep. He's so into it. So it's just amazing to be able to, well, listen, it was mostly Hunter. He had an autopilot when I came in to help out with you guys on Saturday.
No, but you came in and joined the fun,
just to
and we
watch
would
you
not
guys
have been
do it.
able to do it without you. We definitely needed it. And, Game Ball, how about it to Aaron Nagler for not only joining us, but also for a third consecutive year, a draft crush being selected by the Green Bay Packers.
And he's got another strikeout.
Nags.
He called Jagger Burton, and about 10 minutes later, he gets selected by the Packers. It was an all-time moment for us on the weekend.
Dobler chiming in. Aaron Nagler's draft cuss, Jagger being picked by the Packers was a fun moment. That was really good. I just keep getting thrown off by the pronunciation of Jagger because I keep thinking Jagger or Jaeger, but it's not. There's no umlauts. If anybody knows German,
sure,
it is Jagger. So
I like even better that they call him Moose. Like that's one of the better of the better nicknames that you possibly could have. I had been talking about the Dennis Sutton all morning long, and then he ends up going. And Wayne and I felt pretty vindicated because we had been looking at Brandon Cisse for a good while, especially after our guy Reegs called him out during the morning on Friday. So it was really cool to be able to get a number of guys that we had identified and then they ultimately go with. But game ball to Roger Goodell.
And he's got another strikeout.
When the Radio City Music Hall folks ended up telling him that they had booked the Rockettes show a number of years ago and that they were not going to be able to have their little selection meeting process inside Radio City Music Hall again for that weekend, shout out to Roger Goodell for being able to come up and unearth this brainchild of turning this thing into a 3-day NFL Coachella. I mean, Saturday was not nearly the same at in Pittsburgh because of the rain. Shockingly so. There's no way you can go through a 3-game series in Pittsburgh without a rain delay.
Exactly.
But to see the spectacle that has become for the reading of names never ceases to amaze me. And he makes it better each year. And this year, the first round was the most viewable the product has ever been. Throughout even day 3, when you're getting international picks like the Flavor Drew, they have really turned this thing into a spectacle that is no longer grinding through and flipping my binder to try to figure out what they're doing 18 hours in.
The pitch clock in the first round being shaved. Definitely.
That really
it's
helped.
amazing.
Oh, game changer.
And listen, another game ball to the city of Pittsburgh. They also showed out. It was a big sports weekend
And he's
for them.
got another strikeout.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I was already ready to be super overprotective And like to call, I wanted to call our draft still the best one. I was getting ready to be like, Pittsburgh had nothing on us. Like we knocked it out of the park.
Trying to say our state fair is the great state fair.
I was really getting ready. I was predisposed to be super protective of our draft last year and how awesome it was. And it really was awesome. But Pittsburgh also did a great job. So game balls to
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit, Green Bay. That's where it should be.
It's
We ain't getting a Super Bowl anytime soon, so why not?
Yeah.
Now, I saw Goodell at one point tell whoever the panel was, because I was surfing around, but he said that there were 10 teams there scouting like the draft who wanted to put in bids.
Put in bids to host it. Yep.
It's pretty wild.
And identifying what they thought with it. Ed Policy said, he's like, we're absolutely going to throw our name into the ring and try to continually get it. But it has become a pillar thing to be able to have for a weekend, again, that like they've dominated the month of April as draft weekend. Now we get into my favorite kick in the balls, which are the draft grades and fantasy football projections for players that just got drafted.
Oh my God.
And soccer.
Yeah, go watch soccer. Go watch soccer instead of telling me 4 months before they're going to play games and 3 months before any of them get on the field what the fantasy football impact of this guy being drafted is going to be.
Totally true, Billy. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to say it's nauseating because somebody out there likes the content and those guys have to deliver it. I understand it's part of the process, but it is still ridiculous. To jump off that, I'll give another one, kicking the balls.
Soccer.
It's the Bears fans who continuously were throwing these draft grades in our face for their first round safety. Congratulations. You got an A+ from Jim Boner on the internet, draft analysis or whatever. I don't know. Those guys I never heard of, like number one draft analysis internet guy with 400 followers gave an A+ because he copied everybody else's. Congratulations, Bears fans. Put up your banner for your A+ draft game. Dude, everybody show me A+. I got brothers-in-law, my buddies that are Bears fans. Oh, look, A+. We got another A+ for our first draft. I'm so happy for you that, some guy, in his basement wearing his, Hanes, underwear is like telling you A+. So yes, I went to the basement trope. All right. I went to dad and mom.
I was going to say we were either going to get there or we were going to get into just loser poverty friend. You were getting close. You were treading on how many different cliche hates that you could get.
I'm not sitting here even saying it was a
cry
bad
into your Italian beef.
Like I get it. The kid looks good. It's like a safety's position. Right.
Thiedeman's a good player.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And maybe he'll turn out to be good. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be average. But like, how many times are you going to show? Oh, another guy gave us.
I think you just need better friends, Drew. Is that what I'm picking up here?
I'm getting a vibe there.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to stop talking to your family.
I can't choose my family though, but the friends.
I was going to say, but you can choose to ignore them.
Well, no,
you can choose to not send out the text out.
I can leave the text on red, but I can't do that.
Fair.
I can't do that, William. Also, really quick game ball for you. Say, that's a great reference. The Coachella, the NFL Coachella.
Oh, thank you.
That's the best.
A good one.
That's the best description of the draft now that I've ever heard. It's the NFL version of Coachella. It absolutely is. It's a 3-day party. It's going to become influencer party at some point, but hey, that's fine.
The
influencers all over the place.
I was going to say there's going to be the 4K stick mics all over the place, Drew.
And then their efforts to, and I think the Packers did dominate this area with the international picks, like with the harps and the pick from Ireland. That was pretty sweet.
I was going to say game ball to the harps and kick to the balls for me for knocking it.
And he's got another strikeout.
And soccer.
I appreciate that they went with the harp chime, Drew.
Yes.
When they first said they were going to do a harp version of Go Pack Go, I didn't hear that one. Now, maybe there's a video of that one somewhere. I didn't think the harps were going to go hard. When my man hit the harps on the chimes, I got excited.
Billy has a new respect for harps now and other stringed instruments with triangular shapes, if there are any out there.
I might go to the harp today just to celebrate.
I'll tell you what, that's one.
Are they closed on Monday?
First thing I thought when I heard the harp.
They said, dude, nobody comes here on Mondays, you old ass.
I always say, that's why they don't tour very much, the harp tech. It would be a pretty hard thing to be. I have no idea.
I would hate to be that stage manager.
How would you like to be that guy?
That would be a tough harp tech. How about
like a pipe organ tech? Yeah.
Let's go game ball to Carson Hocevar.
And he's got another strikeout.
I almost picked him for game ball sound today, but I didn't.
Number 77, driving a Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series, got his first win yesterday, and 23 years old. And Drew, my man may have done the sweetest and dumbest thing I've ever seen on a NASCAR track. Not only wrecked somebody about 5 laps before the end where he ends up winning it and just gets bumped into the back, shoots down and slams this cat into the wall. He has said before, generally if you cause the wreck, you don't get caught up in the wreck. But he ends up winning it yesterday and then deciding and talking about it after he had been cooking this thing up and waiting to do a victory lap and prop himself out of the car.
Yeah.
Took a good 3.5 minute victory lap around Talladega yesterday and almost crashes the car before he gets it rolling, just before the wall, cranks and corrects, gets around the entire track, and then was unable to stop it. Did end up slamming into the wall for the burnout at the end.
Broke the car.
But it was an epic celebration and had, I think, the most views on any NASCAR clip online on X, I believe they said, in 7 years.
Which is pretty impressive. And also kind of like sad that was the one that got the most views. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. It's awesome. When you're going to personally
cool
and justifiably so wreck your car in celebration, that's a tough thing to top.
And hanging out of the car, kind of sitting outside while it's driving, man. Just another youth with a street takeover. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I thought of. You know, another.
He said after
takeover.
Drew, as he's messing around with it, cranking this thing, and it looks like he's going to crash into the infield wall. He goes, "It didn't matter how long it took me. I was going to figure it out. It didn't matter if it was going to take me all night. I was going to figure out how to do that victory lap because I've been thinking about it for far too long."
And it kicking the balls to me for not initially understood what was going on when I saw the clip and Billy sent it to me. I'm like, wait, who's driving the car? Wait, he's driving it.
Ghost riding the whip.
He's in the car. He's hanging out of the car that's driving itself. I mean, I'm going through all these things in my head. I'm like, wow, I am really maybe a nerd if I realize what's going on here. So I'll give myself one for that one. Kicking the balls. Boss Dobler wanted to give a game ball for Cooper Pratt.
And he's got another strikeout.
Cooper Pratt starting to hit the ball, raising his batting average from 156 to over 200 during this past weekend, including a homer. Yeah, he's always checking in on the minor leagues for the Brewers for us,
keeping us abreast on the Nashville.
So there you
Sounds.
go. Cooper's starting to hit it a little bit.
At this point of the season, you go 2 for 3, you raise your average.
That's
50
the thing.
points.
That's the thing. So yeah,
it's still pretty early. Okay. Well, game balls and kicks 877-794-1973. Game ball, Paul Skeens.
Oh, damn.
And he's got another strikeout.
Was absolutely filthy on
nasty.
Friday night. And I was joking because I was in the press box. I saw the Pirates PR guys. I'm just like, hey, you guys you're missing out on the big party. They're like, no, we're not. We're glad to be out of town. We're happy to be here. And then they watched him shove. And I'm like, there was a time he took a no-hitter, took a perfect game into the seventh inning. So Jake Bauers gets a hit. And there was a time when I thought, wow, this is going to be a great moment in Pirates history that goes unwatched by fans in Pittsburgh who are all hard down watching day 2 of the draft.
Completely missed. Nobody even eating a Permani's better sandwich and watching Skeens in one of their better moments. He is, Drew, so casually dominant.
He was. And he had not pitched well in his previous stops in Milwaukee. Been getting shelled. Like he'd gotten hit pretty hard, but he was as advertised on Friday night. That was really good. Now Woody was okay.
Yeah.
They both started strong. Then Woody hit a little rough patch, but 3 runs, not a big deal.
He was fine. I mean,
He was
that's
fine.
what you take it anytime.
Woody had a keep you in the game out.
Yes.
Skeens had a almost perfect game.
Yeah, we're going to take you to the woodshed kind of
a little bit of a different level.
It was interesting seeing both Woody and Mizorowski start out like crazy heavily fastball. Woody threw 10 straight fastballs to start the game on Friday night.
Didn't start any breaking balls.
Miz, I think, threw 2 breaking balls in his first inning on Saturday and just went right at him and hit 103 on one of them, which was phenomenal. But I don't know if Skeens ended up hitting triple digits, but his casual 99, Drew, is just filthy.
He was just placing it. He was dotting it wherever he wanted to throw it. He was throwing it. It was sick. So
it feels like we're also getting to a point where we can really appreciate watching the craft of pitching as well. Yep. Right. As many overlays, and maybe it's just because of how good the video of it comes out to be. Like his dudes have been doing this for a long time, right? Randy Johnson existed. There have been ridiculous pitches, but we haven't seen the overlay and all of the mechanical things that go into it to make it look that good, if that makes sense.
I saw a Mike Trout quote, and he's now like the old man, right? Because he's been playing
Good
a long
point,
time.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, when I was, even when I started, there weren't this many guys throwing 100.
No, not
and
close.
The pitching has gotten so good. The fact that they're hitting as much as they are
Crazy, yeah.
is crazy because the pitching has gotten so good over recent years with the labs and the spin rates and the kids taking pitching lessons from guys like Wags.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy how
it's paying off. No doubt about it.
All right. Well, speaking of pitching, how about a game ball to 1 Trevor McGill?
And he's got another strikeout.
I like
5 straight scoreless racks for Trevor McGill getting back on the track. It was interesting yesterday, like Brewers off today, so Uribe threw and they weren't messing around. Uribe got the 9th, but probably just an inning to get a sweat, right? And keep him down, get him out of town.
Yep.
Let's get the last game. If you're only gonna win one game of the series, make it the last game so you feel better about the next series, right? So Brewers followed that protocol, but McGill to pitch, what did he get? The 7th yesterday? Yeah.
Yes.
He had the
Yep.
7th. So good.
And a game ball really quickly to Doug Russell, who a week and a half ago told everyone to relax on him.
Oh,
he only
okay.
had a couple
Come on
bad
now.
outings, and he was right. So McGill is right at the ship. So well done.
But it also, when we were talking about when we would see him again, I thought it's been even better than I could have anticipated to put him into leverage spots that might just not be the 9th, but still get the juices flowing to the point where you're not showing a complete loss in confidence in him. And the game can turn at any point during it, and it feels like he's become a little bit of the fireman now. And you mentioned it of throwing Abner Uribe out there. Good getting him out there on Kids Cheer Free Day, right? I'm seeing high school kids doing the celebration and rolling the dice. So everybody wanted to see Uribe. At that point, he becomes a little bit of a showman in the 9th inning, and you have to get there. Kicking the balls to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors.
And soccer
for maybe playing the most unwatchable first half of basketball I have ever seen for the Sunday matinee start into the playoffs. But dude, the Raptors come back and end up grinding it out. That was a tough watch yesterday. It was like watching MAC basketball.
Oh my gosh.
However, man, that series is knotted up at 2-2, and it a fun one to be able to watch afterwards when you're seeing Toronto and our guy Darko, who had maybe one of my favorite rants of all time, talking about Scotty Barnes. He's all-star player, but he doesn't flop like these clowns here that are playing around. I enjoyed seeing the folks in Toronto be able to have something to celebrate because their hockey team didn't give them anything to celebrate this year.
Nope. Hey, game ball to us because we've reached halftime of the huddle. That means Scott Dolphin's going to be popping in. Show's flying by when you got plenty to talk about. By the way, there's talk of some more severe weather. Hopefully not bad.
Man, kick to the balls.
Some rain today. Yeah, a little. I'm going to get some more. Another inch of rain probably.
Oh, darn it. I guess I can't clean out the garage today. All right. I guess I'm just going to have to sit on my hinder and watch TV.
BTTB. Back to the basics.
Son of a gun.
Back to the basics. When we come back, Scott Dolphin's going to drop in. We'll get his thoughts on the draft and more. We'll continue to take your game balls and kicks to the balls. 877-794-1973. This portion of the huddle has been brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Check them out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Make that no obligation, no cost consult. I'll be going to see them today because they have to take a little blood from my fingertip to test to make sure that everything's Jake. So
it's just a blood test?
It's continuous care.
It's easy enough.
At GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Check out, there are the leaders now in peptides, testosterone replacement, everything that has to do with men's health. They can improve your life, whether it's sleep, energy levels, libido, whatever it might be. Check them out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Dolph is up next. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Continuing the huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin. Happy to be joined here at halftime by Scott Dolphin from the country station down the hall, FM 106. Hello, Dolph.
Hi, boys. How was your weekend?
Oh, baby. Oh,
busy, obviously.
Billy was quite busy. I was couch bound for much of it, but
it was fun, dude. We hung out all weekend long, chopped it up about the NFL draft, ate some ribs on Saturday, which was always fun.
Let me tell you about these ribs, all right? Let me tell you about these ribs. Billy went down. All right, on the smoker. All right, you had like two flavors going. I had both of them. They were both fantastic, tender, delicious. The thing about ribs, though, they were succulent. They weren't fatty. Billy, you went in, man, on the smoker. Okay, I'm going to give you a million game balls for those fantastic ribs, my man. You know how to smoke the meat. Let me tell you. All right.
Pause.
Wow.
Hey now.
Yeah,
they were so good, and they really hit the spot on a Saturday afternoon. They really did.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I hadn't really thought about lunch, and it was like 1 to 4. I'm here.
How many hours in the smoker? How many?
Far longer than general. I think they ultimately had probably like 8 or 10 hours of smoke time because I put them in overnight. We got home right around midnight on Friday, so I let them roll there at about 180 or so for about 6-7 hours. Then crank that bad boy up, wrap them up, a little butter, a little brown sugar,
just great.
Little applesauce, little apple juice in there.
What was the spicy? You had a spicier one and a regular, like a sweeter rub.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! And I'm not telling Billy what to do career wise, but this meat influencing thing is going crazy. All the guys either grilling steak or smoking meat on the internet now is crazy. They get crazy views. And you want to talk about the most divisive stuff going on right now in our society or on the internet? There's nothing more divisive than the comments on steak grilling videos.
That's for
People
sure.
arguing with each
You're
other.
doing it wrong.
Oh, what is this guy doing? He putting butter in first? What does he know? Oh, he's deep fried it basically with all that oil. What's this guy? This guy's clearly never cooked a steak before. Blah 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 blah. It's just crazy. So, Billy, maybe that's the next avenue for you.
I might have to try.
Is meat TikTok?
Well, between that and the Blackstone.
Yeah,
you've got quite the industry.
Yeah, well, quite the outdoor kitchen that hardly gets used. Yeah. I also think my favorite part of the meat grilling guys and the influencers are not one dude finishes it off on the video with, that probably could have been better.
Exactly.
Every single bite is
perfect.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right there. Oh, is that good? Oh, is that good?
You're not for long in that world if you're dogging your own stuff on camera.
A little bite, could be better, but you got to try this out. I think you guys can make it even better. Give a little casual optimism in there.
Is there like a Hall of Fame, like a Mount Rushmore of influencers when it comes to meat?
There might be. I really don't know. I think
my man Matt from Meat Church is probably like the top spot.
I keep getting Steel Pan Guy coming up in my algorithm now. That just might be my algorithm. Okay, I have no idea. As a guy that only does it with steel pans, and he talks about
seen that guy,
big pan and big oil, and makes some jokes. I don't know. It's just something funny because I know that no matter what, this is a pretty good video. This steak looked good. I know I'm going to go into the comments and see people just absolutely fighting each other.
That's true. More so than picking over draft picks.
Totally,
100%. Yes.
Dolph, how did the draft wash over you as a Packers adjacent Bears fan?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see every minute of it. I had obligations this weekend. We were at the Brewer game Friday night. But, yeah, looking at the Packers draft, I mean, I saw mixed reviews as far as their grades go. But what do you expect when you don't have a number one pick? You're already up against
6 picks instead of 8, right? Yeah.
And as far as the Bears go, I was surprised they didn't take an edge rusher early. I'm still surprised by that. But looking at the list, I mean, Thieneman seems like a stud. Logan Jones, I thought he kind of got torched a little bit by people saying, when it comes to pass protection, he's a road grader when it comes to rushing. But I didn't see that at Iowa. I didn't see a major issue with him the 4 years I watched him.
No, because he's just a good player. It's the best part about the NFL draft, Dolphins, where it's everything but the film is what mostly you end up watching.
That's true.
And all of
Good
the
point.
measurables and everything that's going to be different and tough for him to adjust with. Just a good football player and a competitor. I really, really liked him. I liked a couple of the guys the Bears ended up drafting. I thought the Xavier Thomas, if I
now that one, right, people were losing their minds over how they reached for him.
Yeah, that one might have been in terms of the grades a little bit of a reach, but you can't teach 4.28. And if the guy ends up being a great kick returner, wherever you end up drafting him, Drew, right, just like the Packers now have found Sky Moore after his third or fourth team, who's going to be the returner this year. He was a former second-round pick. So, like, that kind of speed is a hard thing to quantify. And if he can play, then you win.
If you can get a punt return and a kickoff return a year for a TD, I think that's going to pay off.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people remember what Devin Hester was drafted as. It wasn't as an Hall of Fame kickoff return man. He was a cornerback of all things, but obviously he found his niche early, and that's what I think Ben Johnson wants this kid to do. The one I was most impressed with there is the tight end out of Stanford. That guy's a animal,
big son of a gun.
6'6", 270, and they say he's just a freak athlete. So
enormous.
They have a abundance of tight ends, but I guess one more won't hurt. That guy.
And this was the tight end draft. I mean, there were so many tight ends taken. There were tight ends available. So it's one of those things where, they have tight ends, but you can never be too rich in that position if it's going to become a position of value around the league now. And if everyone's going to have multiple tight ends that can do things, also special teams, a lot of factors there, because no one has fullbacks anymore. So tight ends basically fill that role in a lot of ways. Some people have fullbacks.
The kid from Marquette High School, he's kind of a fullback, right?
Riley Nowakowski,
former Badger.
But they list him as a tight end, don't they? So
H-back or something like that?
H-back, yeah.
He lined up mostly at tight end, but he'll play a little bit of that too. Max Bredesen, Arrowhead kid, he does the same thing, came from Michigan. It was interesting when Roush, the kid from Stanford, is kind of like a true wide tight end, inline blocker and physical, big mauler. Goody mentioned it, like they kind of been hoping to be able to get somebody like that, and that it's tough because a lot of teams in college just aren't running that stuff right now. So those guys are few and far between, and if you're able to somewhat show that you can do it, there's a huge value for that into the NFL.
That's why I love watching Iowa football. It hasn't changed in 30, 40
go.
years.
Still
They
the
still
same
run
style,
that old school system, man. Pro style quarterback.
Well, and I mean, tight ends, that was another spot where if you look at for the first time since 78 that the Badgers haven't had somebody drafted, that was also another position that the Badgers cleaned up with 3rd and 4th round picks over the last number of years.
I guess that's just the program being the program, because there was guys on that roster that deserve being drafted, right?
Yes, some of them are also younger, right? So like they have some underclassmen that would have been closer, but yeah, it's tough when you don't win. You don't get as many eyes, and the old adage of they'll find you wherever you are, sure, but the teams that are winning are obviously going to get a lot more eyeballs, and the everybody eats thing, Drew, is a real deal.
It's never been so top heavy though. 60% of the guys drafted were from the Big Ten and the SEC.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's just become like they're the two conferences.
It's the have and have nots.
The old I guess we'll mention the Big 12 and the ACC, but come on, it's the big two.
But it was honestly just a couple of teams from both of those conferences, right? Like Texas Tech provided mostly them in the Big 12.
Yeah, they had 2 of the top 4, something like that, or 2 of the top 5 out of the Big 12.
Yeah, because they had David Bailey in there, and then Rodriguez, 2nd round pick there. They had a number of guys.
10 years ago, there was over 100 guys from FBS schools like drafted in small schools, and now it's like hardly any, like 15.
Because they kind of find their way to those schools before they reach the NFL.
That's what the NIL
100%.
thing is. Like they're all if you have a good year at Toledo or something, you're going you're moving on up. Yeah,
I also think we're entering an interesting era of what schools are claiming guys for how long they were at their school, because there's going to be so much more transients with all these players, and it's important marketing, obviously, for these schools, and they have a draft pick. It's like all these schools are going to be trying to claim guys. Like, let's say he was there your sophomore year out of 4, and he was at 4 schools.
Are Badgers going to claim Skylar Bell?
That's the thing. I mean,
definitely Nowakowski. We're definitely claiming Nowakowski.
Certain schools are going to try and claim them. At least the graphics department go hard, right, with those, and we're going to see. It's interesting which schools are going to claim which guys as we go forward.
Certainly the fan base is going to claim them.
I mean, Badger fans claim Russell Wilson. They've used
that
like
was,
nobody's.
But he was there for a cup of coffee.
Exactly, but he had the most important year. So it's almost like,
and
where were you?
Did you see Russell Wilson playing for the Savannah Bananas?
I did see that
at Yankee Stadium.
Russ looking a little thicker, huh?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if it was just a baseball uniform, Drew, which is inherently not too flattering if you are not of a certain body style.
You can quickly look like a hard drinking pitching coach. You can look pretty dumpy in the baseball pants. If
you all of a sudden look like a bullpen coach real quickly when you start putting them pants on.
Russ was he a pretty high draft pick in baseball?
He was top 10 rounds at least. At worst, he was like a 5th rounder or something like that. And many people kind of thought he would profile as a somewhat usable, functional player if he could get to the big
gone
leagues.
that way.
Rangers, right?
Is that who it was?
I think so.
Rangers and Rockies, I believe.
It's been a while since we've had a two-way player in two major league sports, right?
Well, Drew Henson, Dion. I mean, it's hard because guys can't commit to one sport.
Yeah,
right.
The Betcher kid from Oregon is one of the last guys that I can think of. He was one of their linebackers. Just got drafted this past weekend.
Good baseball. Still plays on the team now, right? Doesn't he?
I think he gave it up his last year, maybe.
Okay.
But he was one of the big they're a good baseball school. But ended up getting drafted in the 5th round, walked on as a football player,
amazing,
but got recruited as a baseball guy.
And was pretty much their main guy in the middle of that defense all year long. I always think of Brian Jordan as the guy that impressed me the most.
Right.
Hard-hitting safety for the Falcons, and then once the season was over, he'd go to St. Louis and
play some
dingers
baseball
for the Cardinals.
That was pretty wild. All right, so Dolph, we might get some weather today. They're talking about it. This is I think the same front that moved through Lincoln, Nebraska, with the Zach Bryan show at Memorial Stadium, which was delayed at the start. The openers didn't get to play. He played his set, and then he cut it short by like 6 songs because of the weather. And there are people bitching that they want refunds. Outdoor concert late April in Nebraska. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you expect?
What are you thinking?
Same thing happened over the weekend at Stagecoach, the big country festival in California. High wind warnings. So a couple of the big acts, they always do what festivals like in Oshkosh, they'll bring rock acts in too. Journey didn't get to play. Riley Green didn't get to play. And Lainey Wilson went on like 90 minutes late Saturday night.
Yeah,
so it just happens this time of year. You're going to see it. It's happened. I was at Country Thunder down in Kenosha County one year where they wiped out most of the schedule on a Saturday. And then again, the show went to like 1 a.m. because storms happen.
Didn't it pour at Morgan Wallen at Camp Randall last year? The first night?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a delay, I think.
They had empty the bowl for that. Didn't they put a weather warning up?
I think they had to.
I mean, Country Thunder, it's like a series in Pittsburgh. You didn't actually go unless there's one rain day, right? Out of those 4 days, there's got to be one night where it's a complete washout and turns into a mud pit, because that was where half the fun started.
It's called Thunder. I mean, I'm sorry.
Fair. Hey, good point. Good point, Armin. Yeah.
That's so true.
Aren't these country? I mean, this is
and on the rain nights is when it really went
This
down.
is the romanticism of country music, jumping around the mud, getting lost in the backwoods and the mud.
Man, I hope kids are still going to Country Thunder. I mean, you want to talk about
they are.
Whoa, that was crazy, man. I didn't even go. I heard stories.
I mean, look at Woodstock. Look at the footage from the original Woodstock. They were out there in mud up to their knees.
Yeah. In the rain. That's wild. But yeah, I saw that people are complaining like, you should give a refund. No. Read your ticket.
They don't do rain checks.
That's not going to happen.
It's not Muni.
And it's a stadium show.
You're not going to sue.
Was it 2 years ago at Summerfest? We had Kenny Chesney that night. We were in the baseball park, and they had the roof closed. But Summerfest that night almost got wiped out completely. And then the headliners finally did come on and play until played limited sets, but it just happens.
We're getting close to outdoor Luke Combs up at Lambeau Field.
Man.
A couple weeks.
That's a rare thing to have a show at Lambeau Field. I remember Kenny Chesney playing there with Zach Brown, but I don't remember a show since. Has there been music since then?
Billy Joel, maybe?
I just remember that show because they talked about they got more than a season's worth of arrests for drunkenness.
Kenny Chesney,
drunkenness and disorderly. Like this is more arrests than we get in an entire Packers season.
Yeah, you're not going to lose your season tickets if you go to a country show.
Exactly. So that was pretty epic. But yeah, it's the season. And again, buyer beware. But you got to see all but the last 5 or 6 songs because it was scary weather and
one on that.
What are you doing?
It's just
start your class action suits and watch Live Nation laugh at you.
It's the Midwest, right? Exactly. It's the Midwest. It's going to happen. I can think of numerous shows that flat out got wiped out. We had one last year, Thomas Red at Alpine Valley, that almost got wiped out. He was able to go on. Noah Khan got completely canceled last year at Alpine and had to come back in the fall.
That's right.
And play. It just happens.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that people knocking on the clubhouse door. Excuse me, we need to get a refund for this.
Yeah.
We need to get a rain check, brother. That doesn't happen here. This is a Wendy's.
Yeah, good, sir.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
This is a Wendy's. Yes.
That's so fun.
Dolph, thanks for dropping by. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas.
Halftime is over. We'll make our adjustments. Maybe have an Uncrustable, perhaps,
or 6.
Yeah, a couple of orange slices. We'll get back at it for the third quarter of the Huddle next. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I am seated.
Continuing the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, Drew, Billy, and Armin. We need more game balls and kicks of the balls. Fertile territory. It can be commentators from the draft. It can be a pick. It can be something from the weekend, something from the Brewers. Hit us up, 877-794-1973. In the meantime, we've got to spin through who's hot and who's not, brought to us by the fine folks at Donovan Jorgensen Heating and Cooling. Employee owned for 40 years, Billy. Best in the business.
The best in the business, and you shop local for everything else. Why would you not want to go with Donovan Jorgensen, employee owned in our community, 3 locations to go and choose from, and amazing deals going on all throughout the summer months. Now, I think there's a couple of opportunities for who's hot, who's not. I generally don't give out draft grades. However, let's give a who's hot to the New York Jets phone line, because they drafted all weekend long. They were picking seemingly every 10 minutes. It felt like the Jets were on the clock. I don't know if any of the players that they got are going to be good, whether it's David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq in the first round. They traded back up and grabbed Omar Cooper. They just grabbed and drafted a ton of players. I don't know if they're going to work. Most likely, since they're playing for the Jets, they won't. But they were active, and not one time did I see Brick Johnson hanging there when they drafted a bunch of Indiana guys, or Darrell Jackson Jr., one of the guys that I really, really liked. But also in the not category, even though they're up 3-1, I got to put my man LeBron James in the not category. He had 8 turnovers on 9 assists last night in 10 points.
Tough night.
The 24, or they counted 23 here. I saw 24 turnovers, most by any team he's been on in a playoff game. I think he's played in the playoffs for 19 of his 23 years. That's a tough thing to swallow. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow, even though they were dominating the run. And also, who's not? Kevin Durant hasn't played in 3 of the 4 playoff games into this series. And then my man Amin Thompson had to get asked, so what do you think his head frame is in right now? What kind of mental frustration is he going through? I don't know what his mood is, dude. I don't talk to him. KD only seems to get more and more hate and venom towards him, because he has got one of the crazier careers and career arcs that anybody has ever had in basketball.
It'll be debated forever. I mean, that's one thing that, sports people, historians, what have you, we're going to like to debate forever, is his legacy and where it stands. And it's going to be one of those. And yeah, you talked about LeBron in the playoffs, where he's kind of had a renaissance and some great games, and people have talked about what he's doing at his age. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit last week. That was the dud, and apparently it was Sengun with the big speech after a shoot around that inspired the Rockets. So I guess he's one in the who's hot category as well. Who's not also Ant, unfortunately.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's tough.
I would assume we'll have the big game for the Wolves, but Ant is going to be missing multiple weeks, I think.
Multiple weeks with that bone bruise. They lost Dante DiVincenzo. He blew out his Achilles earlier in the game. They still ended up winning. Who's not been hot during that playoff series has been Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. He's been horrendous from 3, and people are starting to see, like, wait a second. He might be worse than a turnstile on defense. That's a tough one to watch.
I saw someone say that Nuggets are turning into the Bucks after they won the title. Now, I don't know how I didn't respond to that well, because I understand the metaphor and the comparison, because it's like, all right, both won a title. That
generational player, one and done.
Mm-hmm.
But I would contend the Bucks weren't healthy for a lot of those runs in the playoffs, fully healthy, didn't get a full shot at it.
Nuggets more
Nuggets
or less
have been, and Jokic is, has been kind of, I don't want to say he's cashing in after the title, but he hasn't been the same playoff performer, let's say. He's still the Vorp god in the regular season, but
we can call Wemby hot for his comeback.
His comeback, and just they outscored the Blazers 73-40 something in the second half yesterday. They went on like a 24-3 run to start out the second half. It was disgusting what they did to Portland in that second half, where it looked like, whoa, this might be series on, game on. And Wemby ended up with 7 blocks, and you probably could have told me he had 17.
Incredible, yeah.
I can't lie and say that I watch a ton of complete Spurs games throughout the year, but you watch him now, and every single moment that he's on the floor, you can't take your eyes off of him. Yeah. Wild talent.
He adjusts a lot of shots. Even if he doesn't block all of them, he affects them all. So he's hot. However, in the same Wemby vein, who's not apparently the concussion process. He wasn't happy about that. I don't know if you guys saw that. He said, I won't get into details. I don't want it to become a distraction. Ask me again, and I'll tell you after the season. All the doctors, especially the Spurs, all the doctors all around, they were great, took care of me, but the way the situation was handled was very disappointing. Not in the Spurs, but as I say, I won't get into details. So something about the concussion return process frustrated him. He's not going to reveal what yet, but that part, I guess, is not for somebody who's in big trouble. I don't know if it's not the doctor.
Someone's in big trouble with a leg. You better watch
whatever,
out.
But he was unhappy about something, and he made it known. He was very frustrated, and he took that out on the court, as he said. So there you go.
Also, who's hot? Kyle Harrison. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about it with 12 Ks. Lowered his ERA under 2.3. Who's not hot? Everybody that's still left in the Red Sox organization. Even though the seat, Drew's got to be hot. They get to be in the not hot category because they still have to show up to work. They're going to be like the Will Smith meme.
Hey,
where'd everyone go?
Red Sox are in better shape than the Mets and the Phillies.
So you might not be long.
The Dodgers are hot. That's evergreen. Dodgers are always hot, even when they're not hot. They're hot. But the Dodgers took 2 or 3 from the Cubs, and the Dodgers are now 10 over. I always say the first goal of every season, get to 10 games over.
Get that thing right away.
And here they are. It's April 27th, and they're 19-9. Whereas the Mets and the Phillies are 10 under. That's where you don't want to be in April because it's a long climb back.
Yeah, you're not lying. Especially when the biggest thing is just to give yourself a cushion for going through what the Brewers are kind of going through right now.
That's right. Important. All right, hour number 3 coming up. Bill Schroeder is going to join us just after 7:25. We will chop it up with him about the Brewers and that great game from Harrison yesterday. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. I'm Doug Russell. It was a Sunday fun day for the Brewers.
That'll do too. Base hit into center. Here comes Bowers. Cook fires to the plate, and Bowers with a belly flop. 2-out RBI single for Luis Rengifo.
Play-by-play courtesy of Brewers TV. Milwaukee blanks Pittsburgh 5-0 at American Family Field to salvage one game of the weekend three-game set. The story in this one from Milwaukee was lefty Kyle Harrison. He strikes out 12 in 6 innings of one-hit shutout ball. The Brewers are off today. They'll welcome in the Diamondbacks to AmFam Field tomorrow. NBA playoffs on Sunday. It was the Celtics taking a 3-1 series lead over the 76ers. Boston winning on the road 128-96. The Raptors and Cavaliers tied up at 2 games apiece. Toronto wins 93-89. Also, the Spurs beat the Trailblazers 114-93. Rockets down the Lakers 115-96. The final hour of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, be alert for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 get. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We got exactly what we got to do. All right, that's all we're going to down to. Let's go out and kick the tape. From right, hey, yo. 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Get out now, and make the play.
Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C-puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Dominating a Monday in the good land. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere on the iHeart app, live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. For smart, good-looking streamers, Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. Game balls and kicks to the balls is the order of business right now. 877-794-1973. Your ticket to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line, or hit us up as well on the YouTube's comments.
A great way to do it and be able to chop it up with us throughout, and also be able to celebrate guys like when our boss Dobler said, as our buddy Aaron Nagler got one of his draft crushes selected this past weekend. And it's fun to be able to call out and identify guys. And then when the team's right, Drew, and just picks what you do, does what you say, then it's smart that they finally just listen to the fans.
What's sweeter than just validation? I talked about it, how it was like the one word that kept coming back to me was logical. This was a logical draft. There wasn't anything that you go, what's he trying to be, the smartest guy in the room? It's like, all right, they needed a guy. That seems like a pretty good guy at that fit. On to the next pick. I needed that guy. Now, trading up your last 2 7-rounders to get a kicker is ballsy. And people like, if it wasn't the 7th round, people would like be arching an eyebrow at that one. But they also saw McManus puke away some kicks and leave points on the board. So that made some level of sense too. So it was all logical to me. I don't want to say it was like chalky, but it wasn't. In some ways, it was unpackers-like.
Yeah, it's the fewest, the smallest draft class they've ever brought in franchise history. 6 players in it. But it also, when you think that they have a lot of spots available depth-wise, Brian Gutekunst says in the pre-draft, he's like, no, I really, really like the depth of our football team. We listened during that pre-draft week, and it's like, all right, how many of these statements that he's going to say are just absolute folly, right? What is he saying just to throw misdirections around? He actually lived up to a lot of the billing that he said. I like to move around. He ended up moving up instead of back, which I thought we all anticipated he would. But when you look at the caliber of player in this year's draft, maybe it makes a lot more sense just to go and hunt your spot that you want.
Well, he didn't make a lot out of himself. We were wondering that on Saturday. You said you were going to move around. Come on, where's the movement, Cootie? We were looking for some action. We did finally get it. Yeah.
And there it was. All right, so game balls and kicks to the balls. You know the drill. Hit us up with your game balls and kicks to the balls. if we're going to give a game ball to Aaron Nagler, our buddy Reegs had Cisse as their pick at 52.
And he's got another strikeout.
Yes, he did.
Well done.
And to be able to have that one onto the wall of one of the youngest players in the draft. We talked about it throughout the weekend of a lot of these dudes have been in college for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Drew, guys are suing the NFL and suing to stay in college when they used to be suing to get out of college.
Crazy.
Now you grab one of the younger guys in the draft at one of the more valuable positions. Hopefully you can get a lot of his best football. And that's where even McClellan felt like he was trending upwards throughout the year. And they mentioned that a lot when they drafted him. Big man out of Missouri was every single time we watched him, we liked him more and more, and he continued to get better.
If you're playing in that league, if you're playing stronger as the season goes on, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It might not hit that rookie wall like other guys do.
And also interesting, I don't know if it was an autocorrect. I don't know if it's one of those things, how you would value it or devalue it, Drew. A lot of the guys that they ended up drafting had very limited injury history, right? There were certain thoughts on the red flags a little bit later on into the draft. Demai Jackson has had some injuries, Damani Jackson, pardon me, has had some injuries maybe in the past. Deni Dennis Sutton maybe hasn't always been fully healthy, but they got a lot of guys that have played a lot of games and have not missed a lot of time. I don't know if that was by design after so many guys go down a year ago, but the durability of the player and the football team was obviously a big problem in 2025. And it seems like maybe they auto-corrected or tried to course correct a little bit with some of the guys they brought in.
Indeed. Kicking the balls, I'll give to a couple of quarterbacks who saw their stock fell on day 3.
And soccer.
It was Grant Nussmeier who was waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yep.
Garrett, I'm sorry, not Grant. Yeah, and he eventually did go to the Chiefs, and Diego Pavia didn't get drafted at all. Right, so that was another interesting.
Now
one.
maybe Diego Pavia will hit it big though on Theo Vaughn's podcast, his new stepfather. I don't know if that's still a thing, if that was still going, but there was a time and place where it wouldn't have been big headline news that the 5'9" quarterback didn't get drafted, right? I don't know that we're too far removed from us just not even thinking that he would have had an NFL future. He's a fun college player, no doubt about it. But at no point while I was watching Diego Pavia play at Vandy did I think NFL guy. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he got an invite to someone's rookie camp. Shout out to that team that gave him the rookie camp spot, and we'll see how it works. I would go UFL if I was Diego Pavia. Try to go get some headlines and just say, you know what? I'm going to do this spring football thing and dominate one spot, because the 5'9", 200-pound quarterback, Drew, doesn't have a big shelf life in the NFL.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Game ball to the Milwaukee Film Festival, which wrapped up yesterday.
And he's got another strikeout.
And game ball, I attended yesterday a screening of a documentary about a friend of mine.
Come on.
Beautiful World, The Infectious Joy of Pat McCurdy.
Awesome. One of our favorites. Yeah.
Pat McCurdy fans, Peter Matsoukas, Benny Kaplan, and David Spies went to Madison, and they got into Pat McCurdy shows back when he was doing the Regent Street Retreat residency on Tuesday nights. For a long time, Pat was doing Monday nights at Lounge Acts in Chicago, Tuesday nights at Regent Street, and then Wednesdays at Celebrity Club in Milwaukee. And his entire career is chronicled in this. And your boy made a cameo.
Let's go. Okay.
Let's go. I got to check
interviewed
that
at
out.
an Admirals game. There's footage of him from all of his entire career, but it's a fantastic film. Great job. I would say that even as a guy Pat McCurdy wasn't a friend of mine, I would say, wow. Well, very well done. So it's going to go to do the festival circuit now, and then maybe get released to a streaming outlet. So.
Well, I'm excited to be able to see it at the streaming.
You're gonna love it.
There,
yep.
Because Pat is one of the true grinders and just one of the all-time good dudes
Great way to
in
put
it. Like just a good, fun guy to be around, and brings energy every single time on there. And also high standards from Drew Olson, because you're in it and you still said that it was good.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you make a cameo, you're just going to downplay it and say, I'm just not touching that.
I usually can't watch myself do anything, but I did watch the movie, and thankfully it's very short.
Does that mean
I'm not on screen very much?
Does that mean you had 2 cameos at the Milwaukee Film Festival? Because didn't I hear that you had a little bit of
I was in a background of the Euchre
background
thing. I didn't
shot,
see
the
that
Euchre
either.
one?
But yeah,
Come on now.
You know
Let's
what?
go.
Shout out to Peter and Benny and
Star
David,
of Stage Cream.
Pretty cool. Shout
Pretty
out to the great organization that's doing the great festival, but shout out to Pat, because you can define success and failure in life in a lot of ways, and a lot of people do. But to be a guy like that, that's made so many people happy at one point or another, that's a success no matter where you come from. That's an amazing thing. I always thought it would be pretty cool to be, people talk about in entertainment in general, like, how do you make it? Do you not? Can you grind out a living? There's a guy, Pat McCurdy, that makes a living doing what he loves and makes a lot of people happy. He's enjoyed doing it for a long time. So pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of the movie, is that no matter what mood you're in, you go to a pet show, you leave feeling better.
And that's how I've always felt.
That's how it is.
I haven't bought a shirt once, and that's a big deal for me.
That's a big deal for
no kidding.
It
Wow.
absolutely is.
Holy cow.
And
big deal.
well, Pat had he made the AAA circuit with bands. His band Yipes got signed to a national label. They opened for a lot of big bands, and they just never cracked through. And then he had the Confidentials and the Men About Town. He was on Star Search with a band, and then started playing solo shows when he had never done it before, and kind of invented his own genre, his own in one of the scenes, his wife Bethany said that people ask him what kind of show is it? What kind of music does he play? It's hard. You can't describe it. You got to see it. It's not. Is it comedy? No, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Is it like music? Yeah. It's like you just got to see it. Is it a cabaret? Is it a variety show? Every night is different. Every show is different. Every show is tailored to that audience, and the audience participation is a huge part of his show. And one of the things Pat realized and said in the movie is that he missed the camaraderie of the band and the connection you have with It's Us Against the World stuff. But then he got that from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the audience is in the band when you see his shows, and it's very unique. It's hard to describe. And the guys did a great job of chronicling it and what it means to people. So it's just a great movie. I would recommend it to anybody, whether you're a Pat McCurdy fan or just a film buff or a music fan.
In a world now where, especially in comedy, crowd work is what everybody is posting nowadays. Some of the crowd work that Pat has done over the years,
and
that would be those would be Matt Rife style. You'd enjoy those clips big time.
The improv of making up songs,
That's what
Armin from Greenfield. He'll rhyme. He'll do a verse on the spot and rhyme your first name and your hometown.
What always amazed me about him, of all the things he does, is that part of it, the musical. You got to have some musical genius to be able to write so many songs on the spot, and that's what he does. That is an incredible thing to witness. He said he's written how many? Through 1,000?
Over 1,000. Yeah. Over 1,000.
It's just so awesome. That's so cool that he got that project and everything, and was featured in that.
Yeah, the movie is just really cool.
I'll have to check that out. So Big Game Ball.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, Big Game Ball. 877-794-1973. Obviously, the draft was the big story. Still no smoke from the chimney at Fiserv Forum, but I expect the Bucs to have a press conference at some point this week to introduce Taylor Jenkins, because it's we're going to hear from Taylor Jenkins before we hear from Jonathan Gannon.
I was just going to ask
100%.
that. Is that a game ball or a kick to the ball to somebody?
I don't know, but it's just bizarre.
Maybe
they had the entire media industrial complex waiting there, and to me, Thursday would have been a good day. Throw some chum in the water.
I was going to say, would have been a good one. It would have been a good time to be able to get out there. I think they would have loved to be able to hammer out and finish that Jaden Reed contract on Thursday. Right now, maybe, Drew, I still think the NFL has a little bit of a deal with these teams of, hey,
let's not.
Nothing on Thursday, right? Nothing on Thursday.
Let's just lay low.
Especially after the Rodgers deal a couple of years ago,
yeah,
right?
Right?
Especially after that hijacked the entire round number one. Let's just let these boys have their moment, and you can announce your signings and your extensions coming up on Friday, because a couple of different teams did it. I wonder when, and maybe the better question will be, who will be in attendance for Taylor Jenkins' press conference? Will there be a big number 34 hanging out in the back? Will there be a 43, right? If they would have done it last week while he was apparently walking around showing them schools.
Yeah, Giannis is already in Greece.
But he said, peace out. I'll see you guys later.
He hung around long enough for Taylor Jenkins to get the gig.
I was going to say, to get pen to paper, but the introduction, he might be elsewhere for. I'm interested to see who goes in there.
And he's been symbolic at some of those things to show his face. Like he was there for Peter Fagan's Key to the City farewell.
Yes.
And I would have to think that was somewhat symbolic,
However,
so it's
if you're reading the tea leaves, the Antetokounmpo's store is having a 70% off sale online. So
but everyone likes a good deal. Everyone likes a good deal.
Everyone likes a good deal.
Is that enough for you to be able to go and buy some AB merch?
70% off is absolutely tantalizing. But yeah, that's the tough thing.
Now, it was never priced like Sunday Red, right? It was never, we're not talking $100 for a t-shirt thing, right?
I'll be
I
honest
can't say I've gone in shopping.
I haven't shopped there. I'll be honest with you. it's not that
I think the clothes are too cool for me to be
too cool
rocking.
for me. I mean, that's just what it is. I'm not that guy anymore. I mean, kicking the balls to my cool factor. I'm in my 40s.
I don't know what that sweet new haircut you got. I
did get a haircut. I'll take that. You know, shout out game ball to Great Clips. But yeah, I
didn't say it was that good to give a game ball to, but yeah.
All right. So is it worth kicking? I don't even know if it's worth it because anybody who's talks into a microphone, you might have a brain fart. You might say something stupid.
Oh, I've done it many times.
Mike Greenberg.
And soccer.
Mike Greenberg on day 2 of the draft, he's getting crushed because the Browns selected Denzel Boston, and he made the leap saying that his father, David Boston, was drafted, and they are not related. Narrator, they are not related.
It's tough because his platform's bigger, but it's like, I know I've made mistakes, so I don't like to crush guys for stuff like that. Although I will say, like, somehow got in his notes, or did he just take a leap of faith on that one?
I don't know, but it was like the thing was that he was drafted by Cleveland, and David Boston was an Ohio State guy.
So he just made an assumption.
So that was how he tried to tie it together.
I guess, but then that's the double whammy. Is like the people in Cleveland, they know. Because they follow Ohio State too, like they know that they're familiar with that guy. They're like, wait a minute, that ain't right.
That's definitely not it.
I just don't think he would have guessed that. I mean, because it could be his uncle too. Like, so it seems like somewhere in the chain of command that was put on a note somewhere by someone who got it wrong.
Okay. I like you just trying to blame a producer for
It's
him.
a producer.
Greenberg apologized for it.
Wow.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Someone put a bad thing on his card. I'm not going to blame him.
The kick of the ball for you goes to blaming a producer instead of the talent.
Soccer.
Well, he said it was in my
make mistakes
research.
too.
He said it was my research.
Well,
So-
that's nice of him to take the bullet for the young producer trying to make
Oh, you're doubling down on it. You don't think Greeny could make a mistake like that?
I just think it's no. I definitely think he could. I just think it's odd that he would have just guessed that. Like maybe he just assumed it, or maybe he heard it wrong somewhere,
Or maybe he just tried to be cool. Be like, hey, I'm just going to throw something out here and see if it sticks.
I've tried that. I mean, I've quickly pounded Wikipedia for some sort of tidbit, and it's been wrong. And I've luckily, it hasn't, gotten that much attention. Yeah. But I've done that. I mean, I just said Grant Nussmeier 5 minutes ago. So there you go.
There you go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Game ball to everybody who has memories from the weekend of the Mifflin Street block party.
And he's got another strikeout.
Good one. Maybe even the 37 people who were arrested. And it was
only
the
37?
usual
That's kinda light.
20,000 people at the block party. It's a couple of fights on State Street, some arrests. Apparently, there were some firearms confiscated.
Well, kids are still going out.
At least no porches collapsed.
Yeah.
I was going to say no porches collapsed, no burning of any couches out there at all.
No, but the
I guess
Mifflin
it's a
Street
good
block
time,
party
dude.
is such a
Alive and well.
staple.
Yeah.
It is like kudos.
That
They
is
say kids don't go out anymore. That's gonna be the last thing to go, right, Billy?
I was going to say, I think the Darty, especially in Wisconsin, is going to be the last thing to go because there's nothing like drinking when the sun's out, right? There's nothing like being pent up all winter long. And then that first taste of 60 degrees and sunshine and a Saturday. So they've had a little bit of practice because it's gotten a little bit nicer out there.
They're doing the bed sheets still, where they're hanging stuff off the bed sheets, off the balconies and stuff. Is that a big thing? Is this like the content Olympics?
Potentially so, but I think you'd be more impressed with maybe it's just like the frats that you drive by at certain institutions. I don't know that they're slumming the parties as much as they used to.
I see what you're saying. Like it's not,
I mean, I think there's some pretty impressive throwdowns going down nowadays.
Okay,
pretty good.
All right,
that's pretty good. Billy, who is our current electric superhero today? A lot of candidates.
A lot of candidates. But let me give you a superhero story from the world of golf. Brotherly love. Brothers Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick won the PGA Zurich Classic this weekend, a team event. And Matt Fitzpatrick's younger brother Alex, with the win, was able to get his PGA card. A fantastic finish for the Fitzpatrick family, mother and father beaming along the 18th green at TPC Louisiana as Matrick and his younger brother combined for a 1-under-71 in the alternate shot game, pulled out a dramatic one-stroke victory. And the win gave the younger Fitzpatrick his PGA Tour card for his first time. He said, for a team event in the PGA with my brother, I don't know if it could be any better than that. How cool is that to be able to help your brother get onto the PGA Tour and get a dub in the same weekend?
Callcurrent.com, the website. Oh, baby, they offer a plethora of services that can help you
Yeah, and they're gonna be so helpful. You're gonna think that you called your brother. Like you're gonna be like, wow, oh my God, these guys are like family. How quickly and how nicely they take care of me and turn my lame backyard into the envy of the neighborhood with that outdoor lighting package.
Indeed, yes, indeed. All right, hey, when we come back, Bill Schroeder is going to join us.
Come on, Rock.
It's Mondays with Rock. Brewers coming off a victory, off day today, and he's going to join us today because he's heading out of town tomorrow. Bill Schroeder is next in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. Big day at the Brewers game yesterday. Avoiding a sweep, riding the wonderful start by Kyle Harrison. 12 punch
So
outs.
good. I love watching that left-handed delivery, just dicing up those buccos.
And I love listening to BA and Rock. And joining us now from Brewers TV, our pal Bill Schroeder. Rock, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Nice win yesterday. Boy, they needed that, didn't they?
Oh, the Brewers needed that big time after a tough game against Skeens, who was unbelievable, and then a tough loss Saturday to come out and get that dub was huge. Rock, what can you say about Harrison, man? That was impressive.
Yeah. Man, the fastball, it's like an invisible, right? I mean, pretty straight. It's, mid-90s, and, the sweeper was really good, threw a few change-ups, and I tell you, the kid, he was impressive yesterday. 12 punch. I think the Pirates struck out 17 times yesterday.
18.
Yep. Was it 18?
Yep.
I'm always miscounting. They say there's no math in this business, but anyway. But I mean, yeah. But Harrison had 12 of them. But it's something about that delivery. It kind of just jumps at the hitter. It's a pretty straight fastball. Spin rate good. Stays up in the zone, and Pirates pretty good offense. But they had three of their big hitters out of the lineup because the lefty was in there yesterday for the Brewers, and he just carved them up.
Can you tell us, like, from your vantage point, because in the book, If These Walls Could Talk, we talk about your ability to diagnose pitches and call them as a former catcher, and you're watching and you can see the break of the pitches. You might be looking at the monitor to see what's the difference between a slider and a sweeper. Because damn if I can tell what some guys, it's what you call it, right?
Right. I mean, you can call it anything you want. I mean, Skeens calls his split-fingered fastball a splinker. So, whatever you want to call a pitch, I mean, you can call it. But, the slider, is, thrown a little bit harder. There's more of a downward movement to it and going across. But, a sweeper is more of a bigger break, not thrown as hard. More of if you're a right-handed pitcher, it's more of a right to left break. And it doesn't go down as much, but everybody's pitches are different. It's a matter of the release point and the grip and what kind of a spin you want to put on the baseball. But I think if you look at 5 different pitchers that throw sweepers, they're all going to break a little bit differently. So they used to call the sweeper kind of a roundhouse curveball back in the old days. So
what happened to the slurve? What happened to the slurve? Because
I think that's the same thing. I think that's the same thing. I think. I mean, it's all about what people want to call stuff. It's like, I don't know. I mean,
then frankly, what they need to do is find some different names and then trademark them, and then you can make some cash on it. I mean, if I'm Skeens, I'm running with that Splinker trademark to be able to lock that thing.
Yeah, Well, according to the Pirate guys, he hadn't been throwing the Splinker as much. So, and I said to him after the game, I said, "Well, what the heck was it that he was throwing? He's throwing the splitter at about 94 miles an hour, 95. I mean." Well, that's a good splitter. He had a really good one the other, tonight. As I'm walking out with the Rock, John Wayner, and Matt Capps. They're analysts out over there, and he was just unhittable that night. But again, a rose is a rose, no matter what you want to call it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Talking to Bill Schroeder from Brewers TV here. A great victory for the Brewers yesterday. Tough one Saturday night. Rock, there were some folks that were wondering if they were ever going to win in these Wisco jerseys. And they finally
get rid of that things.
You think it's the jerseys, do you?
We might have to bury them, Rock.
Yeah.
Those things might have to get cast all the way to the absolute basement in some batting practice jerseys. Or maybe you can give them away next year at fantasy camp, and we can use those and we can get some hits out of them.
I'm just looking forward to the first win so we can just put an end to the whole Wisco Jinx jersey.
Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be nice.
But I do love the bobber logo. I mean, that's really a cool thing. The bobber on the shirts, and they have the quarter zips with the bobbers, and that's a cool look.
That and the supper club stuff.
Yeah, the supper club works. I mean, as long as that prime rib sandwich stays, I'll be okay with it. And I'll give in a little bit. Rock, when you
they brought one.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. They brought one of those up when they first opened that up, and it was sitting right next to me for about 2 innings because you can't start eating something like that, in the middle of an inning, because you're going to miss about 4 or 5 hitters. So
Yeah, the worst is
Once you
just
start, you can't
salivating.
stop.
Yes.
Yep, you salivate and sit there.
Yeah.
Like Drew and I, they bring us wings during our football feast right at the start of the segment, so we can sit there and
Look at 'em.
just
20
look at
minutes.
them and dream about it.
Yeah,
for
and,
20.
and even worse. And even worse when they brought up the old fashioned, sat it right next to me, and I had to sit there. I took a little sip of it. That thing sat there, and then the ice melted. I said, "Go get me more ice." And then at the end of the game, it just kind of killed it.
I was going to say, and one's not enough, and three's too many.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, right.
Rock,
Yeah.
when you talk about Harrison, you said, the credit to the guy. So many of us just watch and immediately give a lot of credit to Chris Hook. And I don't, obviously, the Brewers' brain trust in the pitching department deserves a lot of credit for how they've been able to develop young guys. But Harrison in particular, he seems like he really deserves some credit into not taking too much to heart some of the struggles or the inconsistencies he's had early on in his career. Is that fair?
Well, yeah, and what Chris Hook and the Brewers do, I mean, they have a guy come over. They don't all of a sudden right away, looking at video of them, when they were other teams like with the Giants and with the Red Sox, and say, this is what you need to do before you even see him throw. What they do is they stew on it a little bit. They watch the guy, they let him pitch, and then they make some recommendations. You know what they did with Harrison? Not a whole lot. They just let him be himself. They told him, be you, and throw the fastball the way you want it, be on the right side of the mound, whatever side you want to be, and figure it out at that point. The Red Sox wanted to make him a reliever, and that wasn't his forte. He wanted to be a starter, and he's a young kid. He's still learning. And that's the thing about Chris Hook and Jim Henderson and this pitching group. They do a lot to help these guys. They have the pitching lab down in Arizona, and they work on them throughout the off season. But the one thing that they do so well is let the guys be themselves and let them figure it out a lot of the time on their own and not put too much into their head. And that's kind of the formula that seems to be working for these guys.
What's working for Trevor McGill, Rock? That was his 5th straight scoreless outing after that rough patch. He seems to have figured things out.
Yeah. Curveball. Can you say it with me?
Yes, curveball.
He had a really good curveball yesterday. And when he throws a curveball like he did yesterday, he's going to be good. He's going to be really good when he's bouncing it and when he's hanging it and he's not throwing strikes with it and it's just fastball, which is fairly straight. He's throwing in the upper 90s. But he's starting to land the curveball again. He threw some really good ones yesterday. He got a couple of strikeouts on the curveball. So it's real simple. It's real simple for Trevor. Just throw the curveball the way you did last year, and you're going to be fine.
How impressive is what Jake Bowers is doing for the whole month, Rock? Because we had joked about it, and Drew and I tried to not put the Brad Nelson tag on him, like dominate during spring training, and then let's see what happens when you actually get to the regular season. But he's been really, really good in a time where they've needed someone consistently to provide at least a little bit of pop.
Yeah, and you're probably going to see him against lefties too, now because until Barney gets back and he's starting to take batting practice. I don't know how much longer it's going to be before he goes on a rehab assignment, but they can use him back. He and Churio. I'm hoping that they're going to be back sometime, mid-May, and that's definitely a possibility. But, it just goes to show you that you give a guy a little bit of confidence. You put him in the lineup. You let him struggle, and you let him, what you do is he comes to the ballpark every day. He knows he's going to play, and that relaxes you, And he's been terrific, and not only his offense but his defense. I know he's made a couple errors this year, but there's nobody slicker around the bag than Jake Bowers. I mean, the footwork, the hands, the throws. I know he made a kind of a shaky throw in yesterday's game, but still, the guy's rising to the occasion. And when you have a lot of your bench players being asked to be everyday players and provide offense and do those kind of things while your big sluggers are out, that's asking a lot. Not only does it weaken your lineup, it weakens your bench as well. So Bowers has stepped it up, and it's good that he's done that.
Talking to Bill Schroeder, Brewers TV here on the Huddle. Rock, I've been a little skeptical with people saying that the Pirates are better, but after watching this weekend, they are better. And not only Connor Griffin's going to be a problem for a long time, but O'Neal Cruz seems to have figured some things out as well.
Well, the Brewers handled him pretty well, didn't they, over the weekend?
Yeah.
I don't think he got a hit. I mean, maybe he might have gotten one hit, but they struck out a bunch. He had, 4 or 5 strikeouts on Saturday night. He's been much better against lefties. He's got a lot of work to do in center field, but he certainly has the ability. He's been really good. And, the Pirates have done a lot of good things. They've added some veteran guys to solidify that lineup and help in that clubhouse. They got Ozuna over there. They got Brandon Lau. They got O'Hearn. These guys are veteran guys that know how to play baseball, and I think it's been a big help. But you're right, Connor Griffin's going to be a good player. Right now, his swing's a little bit long, a little bit loopy, but he's got a pretty good right field stroke going. He's a terrific shortstop.
Yeah, he's looking good. And your favorite all-time opponent, Brian Reynolds, the Brewer killer.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot in the series, too. I know he got a big hit, in the 10th inning, but I think with the additions that, the Pirates have put around him in the lineup, it's just going to help him because he's always been the guy in that lineup, and he's been a Brewer killer, although the Brewers handled him pretty well over the weekend. But, don't rest on your laurels because that guy, sometimes he can be a one-man wrecking crew against the Brewers.
All right, Rock, this might be the dumbest sports radio question of all time of which injured guy do the Brewers need back the most. But you mentioned Andrew Vaughn and at first base Bowers and Sanchez have done a good job holding it down. You haven't seen Chourio all year, and Yelich was just so good to start. Which of those guys, it seems like we're going to get Chourio back first, but with how they produced in the outfield, which of those do you think is the most important for them to get back as soon as possible?
Who do they miss the most? I would have to say Yelly. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, he's the kind of the glue that keeps everything together, not just on the field, but in the clubhouse. And when your star player is out and not playing, he doesn't have that emotional impact that he does when he's out there and playing every single day. So, veteran guy, he's been there, done that, MVP. I mean, guys look to him, for guidance, and they look at him when things are going bad. They look at him when things are going well, and they try and, mimic him. So with him out of the lineup, that's a big loss. Not just what he does on the field, but all the other things that he provides as well.
Rock, there was the way the series started with Skeens just shoving and taking a no-hitter into the 7th. You're wondering, is this going to be the night? And I thought, wow, he's going to pitch a no-hitter, and no one in Pittsburgh is going to see it because they're all watching the draft live from Pittsburgh, and it would have been the lowest rated no-hitter in history. But there wasn't going to be a chance. They were going to, even if he had gotten through and Bowers hadn't gotten that hit, he was at 90 some pitches through that 7th inning. Like, he wasn't going to get a chance to finish that. Like, that would have been thorny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I mean, the way baseball is, they don't allow these guys to, get that pitch count up a little bit. I was in AAA, we had a pitcher named Frank DiPino. I think you guys remember.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that name when he was in AAA. He threw 175 pitches one day. And, of course, the manager about a few days later after that game, he got fired. So, but we can't have Frank DiPino throwing 175 pitches, but, Skeens was on a different level. It was great to see, Bowers with that base hit. Nobody wants to see a no-hitter. I know I don't want to see a no-hitter, but when you talk about the least watched no-hitter of all time, remember Scott Erickson threw a no-hitter against the Brewers in Minnesota? Yep. That game was not on TV in Minnesota or in Milwaukee. It was a day game. And so you don't even have video of proof of that no-hitter. So talk about wearing one. That's a bad deal.
That is. The kids can't go to YouTube and see it. The grandkids can't see it.
It's like Favre when he talked about not being in the team picture because he was hungover, overslept the team picture in Atlanta. You weren't on that team. You're lying sack.
Yeah. All they have is a radio replay. Don't even have any TV coverage.
Keep it as an MP3 on your phone. Keep it as an MP. You can't show the video. You can show the radio. Yeah, or you just print out the sheet of the baseball reference page and pass it around.
Oh my God.
And when we talk about that Friday matchup, Rock, the thing that gets hidden, because I thought Woody pitched okay. He was, it kept you in the game if Skeens hadn't been pitching. Skeens was otherworldly good, so that was cool to see. But Shane Drone picking up the 4 innings and then saving the pen, you got to get some kind of special award for that, because that could have gone sideways. And what he did is commendable.
Yeah, and now the team has the day off before Arizona comes in here tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, anytime you get a guy out of the bullpen, and he's a starter, down in the minors, and so he was stretched out enough to be able to throw 4 innings, did a pretty good job, So you always need guys, your long relievers down in that bullpen, to pick up everybody else. So it's good that he was able to do that. It helped the bullpen the rest of the day. Yesterday was a really good job by the bullpen. I mean, Aaron Ashby, let me tell you something. This guy, I mean, I don't know how he ever gives up any hits. I mean, the way his fastball moves and that curveball and Contreras yesterday blocking those curveballs in the dirt with a man at third base. I mean, that, when the pitcher is confident in a catcher to be able to throw a curveball in the dirt like that, no matter what the situation, you're not going to hang him, right? You're not going to hang a curveball and have a guy hit it out of the ballpark. So, Ashby, he has the tendency to walk guys, but he also has the strikeout ability. And if you're walking guys, you need to strike guys out. And he does both of those.
We don't want anybody to have shoulder surgery or procedures, but whatever they did to that arm to make him just absolute rubber, that's pretty impressive, Rock. I mean, he just feels like he's ready every day.
Yeah. Yeah, he threw 2 innings on Saturday, and we get to the ballpark yesterday at about 10:30, and he's throwing long toss. He's in front of the Brewers bullpen and throwing all the way to the right field line. And then he comes out and throws another inning today. So, yeah, I mean, the bionic man, he's been amazing.
Love that.
Fantastic. Did you get your Sunday Kringle? Did Vinny Rotino come through with the Sunday Kringle?
Talking.
Yeah, it was pecan. So yeah, we put in our request as to what he should bring every Sunday. I don't know what happens when I'm not doing the games on Sunday, but it's kind of required of Vinny to bring a Kringle in every Sunday.
So wait, pecan was requested? I thought that almost sounded like he was doing some kind of punishment for us. So the pecan one's the winner. There, Rock.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't weigh in on that flavor, but maybe there was a sale on it down there at O&H. I'm not sure, but
pecan is one of those very it's a very polarizing flavor in Racine County. Some people love it, some don't.
So what Vinny does, he brings the Kringle in and he slices it into little triangles, so that we don't have to worry about taking too big of a piece. I think that's basically for the crew, so they don't demolish it all in one bite.
The portions are.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're going to end up eating 10 of those little slices anyway.
Right. That's a game ball to Vinny, because then I can have one, and it's like the mini muffins. I'll just have 1 or 12. I'll just have 1 or 1 every half inning. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you got to ration it up.
Shout out Benson's, my favorite.
Yeah, well, when he brings Kringles in, I think we can allow him to take all the free giveaways that are in the booth home all the time. So
it's an exchange.
That's the trade-off.
That's the trade-off. I love
exchange,
it.
yes.
That's fantastic. I love it. Rock, thanks for joining us. Safe travels this week, and we'll catch up with you down the line.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Talk to you later.
You bet. Phil Schroeder, Brewers TV, coming off a victory yesterday over the Pirates, avoiding the sweep, going into the off day with a good mindset, and then getting ready for the Diamondbacks on Tuesday.
I love it. And not only the Kringle talk, but like the allowing guys to be themselves. It's crazy how much confidence can breathe life into some of these players, Drew, right? Like, I mean, just be confident in what you're doing, and we got your back. We'll figure out what rolls on. It's worked out with Kyle Harrison quite nicely.
That's right. Confidence will continue to rise as the Brewers get their injured players back. The Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin injury report: Andrew Vaughn, Jackson Churio could be they're starting to swing. They're starting to get in rehab flow. Quinn Priester. Those are some key guys. Christian Yelich still on the distant horizon. He's going to have his charity event while he's still kind of injured, I think, next month. But it's all coming together on that front. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, the best when it comes to injuries, whether you're a professional or a weekend warrior or a high school athlete. Check them out at orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. We'll be back to close up shop here on this Monday edition. Take your final game balls and kicks and have a little wake and bake story for you. Next, this is the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin. Just getting a good lather going, and it's time to say goodbye already. Time to shut it down.
It's crazy how that happens, dude. It's so unfair.
Show flies by. Maybe someday we'll get that for
We were just starting to get good.
Exactly. But it's time for our Wake and Bake story brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Speaking of good, my shipment came quickly after that sale a week ago today on 4/20. But you can still avail yourself of a great bargain. HappyPlaceHemp.com, code Huddle gets you 25% off and free shipping every time. Not 42% off, but 25 is pretty damn good. And the best CBD products you'll find anywhere: the Drift Seltzer, Drift Gummies, pet products, muscle creams, and of course, just our favorite recreational gummies. Check them out if you need help sleeping. If you have questions, reach out to the guys through the website or visit them in Muskego off of College Ave.
Yeah, and the Drift Seltzer was my grill caddy yesterday, and
Nice.
tremendous pairing with the smoker. Now, how about this one, Drew, for the Wake and Bake story of the day? It's not necessarily one story. It's going to be all of the stories that come out here today and have over the last 36 hours. Man, you can wake and bake and enjoy all of these different draft grade articles, and it's the only way I think that you can actually enjoy what this is, because it is just. We joke about it, and verbal masturbation has been a tag that I've heard of what mock drafts ultimately turn into being, of just let's fire out as many names and pump out as much content as possible. Draft grades are even worse, because what you just did is either said, yeah, they took the guys that I said were good, even though that's no proof that the guy can actually play in the National Football League. But there's a varying degree. The Journal Sentinel put together all of the different draft grades for the Green Bay Packers, as high as an A, as low as a D. So,
Yes.
Now, as much as I was okay with that when I was in school, as long as there was no F next to me, that was fine, because D's get degrees just as much as A's do.
True.
But for a 6-person draft class, the draft grades, I'm stunned that people thought the Las Vegas Raiders did well. They had 12 picks. They drafted a ton of players. Does not mean any of these guys can play. The only draft grade that matters is the one that happens 3 years after the draft, not 3 hours or 3 days after the meeting.
Thank you, Billy. Yeah, so you can kind of interpret it whatever prism you see yourself, see things through, and that's the reality of it. But until we get the results, which are exactly like you said, Billy, years down the road. Also, we overemphasize positions so much in these drafts. What position do we get? What position? The positions don't matter. How good these players become is what matters. If you get a great player at a position you didn't want down the road, that's all that matters.
Everybody is going to hammer the LA Rams, and I haven't seen any of these, different articles, Drew, that are outside of the bottom 5 for the LA Rams. Guess what? If Ty Simpson ends up being a Pro Bowler, now not a Shadur Sanders, Tyler Huntley Pro Bowler, like an all-pro quarterback,
like a real good,
dude. People are saying that he evaluates the Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was like the 7th to 10th best quarterback in football for an extended period of time. If he's that, guess what? They're a top 5 draft if you get that at that position.
Absolutely.
No doubt. There's also a lot of people, for some reason, arguing about how much Mendoza is going to play in Las Vegas this year.
Yeah, I still think Cousins plays to start, and then I think they bring in Mendoza at some point. But also, we're 4 months away. I can't care that much. I care a lot more.
I get
right?
That. Yeah.
Like, I care a lot more about our guy Ben sending in the video or picture that his daughter caught a foul ball at the game yesterday.
Final game ball of the day, literally, for Ben's daughter.
That's right.
Oh. Yeah.
That's a memory you're always going to have. Great picture.
And she didn't botch it like me in the 300s last year.
Thanks for
right
sharing
off
that,
of the palm, dude.
Tomorrow on the program, we'll be doing some buying and selling. We might even catch up with Reegs to do one last draft recap.
That.
He's probably already working on his mock for 27.
And Hunter stops by.
And Hunter Baumgart will be with us as well. Thanks for hanging out with us in the Huddle. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m.
Peace.